Chapter 46:16. A stalk of fire kept dancing, as if it had turned into a divine fire, sweeping across the land. Several elites from the Xiling Grotto heaven were hit in an instant, and their bodies immediately split open. On the other side, a black demonic flower shot out terrifying black water, which had a strong corrosive effect. One of the elders didn't manage to dodge in time, and was instantly turned into a bloody mist. More than a dozen young disciples also disappeared into thin air. Damn it, what kind of demonic beast was this? How could it be so terrifying? The people from the Xiling Grotto heaven were stunned, and so were the people from the White Cloud Grotto heaven. Great! The young master had made a move, and these demonic beasts had all been revived. Other than these two demonic beasts, there were 3 others. And these 5 demonic beasts were all at the peak of the Saint King realm. More importantly, they each had the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. When they worked together, it was really terrifying. When the 5 demonic beasts attacked, it took 9 days. The elites from the Xiling Grotto heaven kept falling, forming a scene of destruction. Retreat quickly. The people from the White Cloud Grotto heaven had already retreated after receiving Elder Bai's warning. They looked at the scene in front of them and were extremely shocked. They felt their hair stand on end. Elder Bai's scalp was also numb. Fortunately, Lin Xian was their friend. Otherwise, they would be dead if they faced such demonic beasts. Lone Moon, who was beside him, was also shocked. These 5 peak demonic beasts were actually controlled by Lin Xian. It was really unbelievable. Although Xiao Mu played a large part in the process of suppressing and controlling the demonic beasts, Lin Xian only used the seal of life and death at the end. But now he was controlling 5 demonic beasts. How much spiritual power and control did he have to be able to do this? Looking at the other party's shining golden eyes, Gu Guyue did not dare to imagine that this person's talent and strength were definitely far beyond theirs. Even Xiao Mu was surprised. Lin Xian was still so young, but he was already so powerful. It would not be a problem for him to surpass him in the future. He might even surpass everything. Perhaps he could use his magical eyes to control a demon saint at the level of the great sage. Everyone saw this scene, and they had a deeper understanding of Lin Xian's talent. The elders of the White Cloud Wonderland were extremely excited. Such a genius beast tamer must become their friend. No matter what the cost, as long as they could keep Lin Xian by their side, their White Cloud Cave would become even more powerful in the future. At that time, they would be able to surpass the other caves. Those young disciples felt their blood run cold. Fortunately, they had run fast enough. Otherwise, they would have already died inside. Some of their companions did not manage to escape in time, and were torn to pieces by the 5 demonic beasts. Those elders also felt heartache. Although it was hard for them to lose a few disciples, and perhaps this mansion would also vanish into thin air. But so what? To be able to befriend a genius was worth it. Lin Xian's value was more important than anything else. Demonic qi permeated the area ahead, and the terrifying might of the laws gradually subsided. Those demonic beasts stopped attacking and quieted down. The shattered space in front of them was quickly mending. Everyone looked ahead. Are there any survivors? In the next moment, they all gasped because not many people were still alive in front of them. To be precise, only one person was still alive. This was a peak Sage King realm elder. He had a pagoda covering him. At this moment, the pagoda was also dim. It was because of the pagoda that he was still alive. Otherwise, he would have died without a doubt. Those around him were all killed. Not a single one was intact. They were either torn apart or turned into a bloody mist. No. That elder of the Purple Spirit Wonderland Alliance roared crazily. How many experts and elites had he brought with him? But now they were all dead. He was the only one alive. He could not imagine how he would explain himself when he returned. In the next moment, his eyes shone brightly, piercing through the void and looking ahead. Lin Xian walked out and said, "Do you still want revenge?" That elder's scalp went numb. Do you still dare to seek revenge? Lin Xian had attacked twice. The first time he destroyed their mansion. The second time it was this time. Apart from him, all the experts had died. If there was a next time, what kind of scene would it be? He did not dare to imagine. This young man was too deep. He could not see through him at all. Young Master Qing, we have offended you previously. Please forgive us. From now on, we will no longer be enemies with you. This time, our men were killed because of White Cloud Paradise. We will not let White Cloud Paradise off the hook. This matter has nothing to do with you, young master. We, the Purple Spirit Wonderland, will remember this battle. White Cloud Wonderland, just you wait. With that, he tore open the void and escaped. Hearing the other party's words, Su Chen laughed coldly. It seemed that his methods had worked. He had beaten the White Cloud Wonderland until they bowed down. Since the other party did not dare to release his killing intent, he could only find another target. It was the White Cloud Wonderland. Thinking about it, these two White Cloud Wonderlands had already formed a death grudge. They would definitely fight one another in the future. Damn it! The White Cloud Wonderland was so angry that they vomited blood. The other party said that they were the ones who did it. They had indeed done it, but the most important thing was those 5 beasts. Of course, they did not dare to say that Lin Xian was the one who did it. After all, they had begged Lin Xian to set up those beasts. After thinking about it, it was indeed their strength. But so what? There was already a conflict between the White Cloud Wonderlands. It was just brought forward. Sooner or later, they would get rid of the Purple Spirit Wonderland. Alright, you guys handle the rest. I'll find a place to rest. I'm tired from controlling so many beasts. Seeing Lin Xian's pale face, Elder Bai said, Don't worry, young master. Leave the rest to us. We'll take care of the strong ones to protect young master. With their strength, they quickly found a mansion. But it was small, only big enough for Lin Xian and the others. They did not mind. They wanted to rebuild the White Cloud Mansion and build a more magnificent mansion. Lin Xian left. The people behind him looked over. No way. Was the battle over? Why didn't the people from the Purple Spirit Wonderland come out? Were they killed? Heavens, this piece of news quickly spread out. In the ruins ahead, the people from the White Cloud Wonderland were shocked. Some of the younger disciples were excited. Was this a beast tamer? They really wanted to learn this move. The elders also said, We must have this young man in our hands. Do you understand? The others nodded. Of course they understood. We'll rebuild the mansion and win him over. We'll make him give us the method to control the beasts as soon as possible. We must control him. As for the Purple Spirit Wonderland, since it was over, there was no need to hold back. Chapter 46:17. The news spread quickly, and the people from the other grotto heavens were shocked. It can't be. You're saying that only one of the experts from the Violet Spirit Paradise managed to leave alive? Have the others all fallen? Are you sure? The people from Qianshan Grotto Heaven asked. An elder nodded. I'm sure. I saw it with my own eyes. Only one person survived, and he was heavily injured. The people from Qingqiu Grotto Heaven were also shocked. How could this be? He was just a young man. The eyes of the elder from Howren Grotto Heaven shone. This young man was too amazing. He had to rope him in. At least he couldn't offend him. This way, we'll suppress a group of beasts and find a batch of spirit fruits. I'll give them to this young master. We have to get his support. Lin Xian set up the array, and the others laughed. Lin Xian's lips curled up. He snorted coldly. This was just the beginning. Lone Moon said, Which grotto heaven are we going to attack next? I can't wait. Lin Xian said, We don't have much time. They might contact Shanghai City for such a big thing. Although they were far away, they would still do it. If they found the Green Clan and found out that there was no such person, they would be suspicious. Xiaomu frowned. He knew that Lin Xian's strength was real, but his identity was fake. The other party used the Green Clan instead of Shanghai Palace or Xiao Clan to prevent the 6 Grotto Heavens from taking revenge. Although the distance between them was endless, there was no need to offend so many powerful sections. Lin Xian had a grudge with the Green Clan, so he didn't care and put the blame on Qingzhu. With their speed, they should still have some time. We can make good use of it. Lin Xian thought for a while and said, I have some friends who were suppressed in the Grotto Heavens as battle servants. The main goal this time was to save them. Xiaomu and Guyu were shocked. No wonder Lin Xian hated the 6 Grotto Heavens so much. Actually, to tell you the truth, I was the same before. My friends and I came from another world. Who would have thought that he would be suppressed by the 6 great grotto heavens? He had to take revenge. Xiaomu said. This isn't difficult. Young master can invite the young geniuses of the 6 great grotto heavens and control them to find your friends. Alright, let's do that. Lin Xian nodded. All he knew was that Fu Hongya was in Violet Grave Paradise. However, he had just dealt heavy damage to the Violet Spirit Paradise twice. It would be troublesome if he wanted to make contact with them again. It would be better for him to take a look at the other paradises and see if any of his friends had been suppressed. The next day, the people from the 5 grotto heavens met again. Lin Xian was very satisfied with the generous amount of resources and demonic beasts that were sent to him. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to the elders. The 6 great grotto heavens are considered top-notch sections. There must be quite a number of geniuses in there. I'm going to organize a gathering of geniuses and invite all the geniuses of your grotto heavens. We'll have a good gathering and get to know each other. He wanted to make more friends. Really? That's great. The experts and elders of the grotto heavens were overjoyed. Don't worry, we'll definitely bring those geniuses here in 3 days. Alright, I'll wait for you. Lin Xian began to make arrangements. In his opinion, his friends were all top-notch existences. Even if they were battle servants, they should be allocated to the top-notch experts and geniuses. Therefore, he should be able to meet many of his friends this time. As expected, after the grotto heavens sent the news back, the geniuses of the grotto heavens began to move. They had naturally heard of the happenings in Moonshine City. They wanted to see for themselves what was so special about this legendary beast-taming genius. Therefore, they used all sorts of methods to rush over in the past 3 days. For a moment, Moonshine City became even livelier. Every day, there would be powerful figures descending. The people in Moonshine City were shocked. Aren't these the geniuses of the 6 great grotto heavens? Why are they all here? What happened? Haven't you heard? That beast-taming genius is going to invite the top-notch geniuses of the 6 great grotto heavens for a gathering. Really? I want to go and take a look too. Countless people were envious. However, it was useless. This was only a gathering between Lin Xian and the 6 great grotto heavens. The others were not qualified to enter at all. On this day, dozens of figures descended in Lin Xian's courtyard. These geniuses were still arrogant and unruly. However, after entering, they realized that there were many beasts swimming in the courtyard. Late-stage and even peak-stage beasts were eyeing them covetously. These geniuses were horrified and put away their arrogance. Come sit down. Lin Xian walked out and waved his hand. His eyes flashed. As expected, he found some familiar faces. His friends were treated as battle servants. They looked at him coldly as if they did not know him at all. Lin Xian's lips curled up. He secretly transmitted his voice to Xiaomu and told him about those people. Xiaomu nodded. Then Lin Xian found an excuse to talk to a few people in private. The first person to enter was Bai Hao. He was from the White Cloud Grotto Heaven. His name was Bai Tsong. He was extremely excited because he had heard from Elder Bai that this young Master Qing was a godly person. If he could make friends with such a person, it would be extremely beneficial for his future. As soon as she came in, she said, "Young Master, Elder Bai is my second grandfather." Is that so? Lin Xian nodded. Very good. In the next moment, a large golden hand grabbed Bai Tsong's head. Bai Tsong's face changed. Damn it. What are you doing? He was furious. A shocking amount of energy exploded. At this moment, a sword aura descended. If you move again, I'll take your life. Bai Tsong broke out in cold sweat. The surrounding battle servants wanted to attack, but they were sent flying in an instant. A black ape appeared and suppressed the battle servants with 2 palms. Lin Xian said, "Let's begin." Xiaomu nodded his head and walked out. His powerful soul force flew directly into the minds of the 2 figures. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. The power of the Tianji Divine Eyes and Dragon Sword Spirit also flew in. Previously, he could break Fu Hongye's control by himself. Now that he had Xiaomu's help, it was even easier. Soon, the 2 figures' eyes regained their light. In the next moment, they exclaimed, "Where are we? What happened to us? Are you two all right?" Lin Xian asked as he walked over. Martial Uncle Lin. Lu Yuan stood up in shock. Li Hongxiu was also shocked. Where are we? Lin Xian briefly recounted what had happened before. The two of them were shocked. We've actually become battle servants. Moreover, it's been a long time. You're the one who saved us. Lin Xian nodded. That's right. Not only you two, but also the people of Wushuang City and other friends. I want them all out. Then he looked at Bai Tsong and planted the seal of life and death on him. Chapter 46:18. Li Hongxiu and Lu Yuan were both stunned. Lin Xian said, "Don't pity him. They treated you as a battle servant before, and now he's going to be your battle servant. From now on you'll listen to the two of us. Do you hear me?" Bai Tsong nodded and stood up again. "I'll remove the control for you first, and then I'll take you to another place to cultivate." Lin Xian said. Li Hongxiu and Lu Yuan had many things to ask, but they knew that it wasn't the time yet. The three of them pretended that nothing had happened and walked out. Then someone else came in. This time, it was Lan Chao from the Haoran Grotto Heaven. His battle servant was Gao Jianfei and Leng Aojuan. They were also controlled by Lin Xian. Then Lin Xian and Xiao Mu removed their seals. The two of them were extremely shocked. Firstly, they were grateful, and secondly, they were angry. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, there will be a time for revenge, but not now." Next is the Green Hill Grotto Heaven. The one who came in from the Green Hill Grotto Heaven was a genius called Qing Feng. She controlled Shengguan Shaoxian and Yu Ruo. She was also removed by Lin Xian. In this way, he found most of his good friends. Of course, there were still a few people, such as Ling Hu Chuexue. He still didn't know where he was. Other than that, there were also the two women who were most important to him, Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingcheng. These two were also not here. Lin Xian guessed that the two of them might not have been suppressed, and might have gone to other places. Of course, he wasn't sure, so he prepared to suppress a few elders. That way, he could get more information. He found Elder Bai. This time, Lin Xian brought him into the Great Sage Pagoda, and then attacked with Xiao Mu. Elder Bai roared and wanted to fight back, but he was suppressed by the three-eyed vermilion bird in an instant. Then Lin Xian began to control him. This time, he lasted longer than the other party. No matter what, Elder Bai was still a late-stage Saint King. However, Xiao Mu was so powerful that his opponent's soul was about to collapse. Lin Xian planted the seal of life and death on him. Elder Bai had also become Lin Xian's battle servant. Lin Xian carefully searched his soul, and found that there was no news of Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingcheng. From the looks of it, the two of them were really not here. His fellow disciples and friends were no longer under his control. They were no longer battle servants. However, Lin Xian did not leave immediately. There were still some things he needed to do, which was to heavily damage the Grotto Heaven and the human world. The 6 great Grotto Heavens were related to the human world, and the 6 great Grotto Heavens were under the command of the Ethereal Peak. In other words, they were definitely in conflict with the Ethereal Peak. Lin Xian felt that he couldn't just control Bai Rang alone. He had to control some people from the other Grotto Heavens as well. Only then could he launch an attack on Ethereal Peak. It even caused the 6 great Grotto Heavens to kill each other. Lin Xian used his identity as a beast-taming genius to meet the other elders alone. As expected, he suppressed some of the elders in the 5 great Grotto Heavens, and made them his battle servants. Very well, it's time to start. Lin Xian secretly planned. The Haoran Grotto Heaven attacked the elders of the Flying Rain Grotto Heaven. They killed several elders. The Flying Fish Grotto Heaven roared, and attacked the mansion of the Haoran Grotto Heaven. The two sides fought fiercely. In the end, the battle spread. On the other side, the people of the Green Hill Grotto Heaven and the Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven also started a battle. For a moment, the people of Moonshine City went crazy. What was going on? Why did these Grotto Heavens become so crazy? One had to know that these Grotto Heavens had conflicts with each other. However, they had always been peaceful. Even if there were small battles, it would not spread to such a terrifying extent. After all, there was Ethereal Peak above them. However, the situation seemed to be out of control now. However, they found that this was just the beginning. In the battle between these Grotto Heavens, some Grotto Heavens joined forces. For example, the White Cloud Grotto Heaven and the Howren Grotto Heaven joined forces and destroyed the mansion of the Flying Feather Grotto Heaven. The Flying Feather Grotto Heaven went crazy and joined forces with the Purple Spirit Grotto Heaven to attack the Howren Grotto Heaven. In short, the battle was getting more and more terrifying. Even the powerful beings of the Grotto Heavens were puzzled. What was going on with this Moonshine City? Someone said that a beast-taming genius had suddenly appeared. Perhaps it was to snatch this genius that caused the battle. Beast-taming genius. Some of the powerful beings let out a cold glint in their eyes. On the side of the Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven, Elder Yenhor found him. Elder Shueihua said, "Have you heard of a beast-taming genius that appeared recently? I think you can go out and control him directly and make him our slave." Elder Shueihua said, "I don't think this is appropriate. Have you told the old ancestor?" Elder Yenhua said, "I'll tell the old ancestor right now. You can head out first. Don't worry, the old ancestor will definitely agree. Moreover, with the power of your life and death curse, you can definitely do it without anyone knowing." All right. Elder Shueihua thought about it and did not have too much doubts. He decided to head out. However, he did not know that he was really wrong this time, because Elder Yenhua had already been chosen to be controlled. Shueihua aged very quickly. He came to Moonshine City and found Lin Xian's mansion. He waited until it was dark before he was ready to set off. At night, there was not even moonlight. It was very dark. Shueihua aged very quickly. As soon as he came in, he sensed the presence of demonic beasts. He activated the powerful life and death curse, and those demonic beasts were directly stunned. Like a wisp of green smoke, he charged towards the palace where Lin Xian was. The next moment he saw Lin Xian cultivating. Tearing the void, he sneered and charged over. At this moment, Lin Xian suddenly turned his head. "I've been waiting for you for a long time." Elder Shueihua was shocked. What was going on? He knew that she was coming. Could it be a trap? Soon she sneered. "So what if it's a trap? Kid, since you know, I won't hide it. Kneel down obediently. You can't resist my life and death curse at all. Right, you can try." Lin Xian said with a smile, his eyes blooming with golden light. Elder Shueihua snorted coldly. With a wave of her jade-like hand, the life and death curse appeared and attacked Lin Xian's soul. Lin Xian used the Tianji map to resist. At the same time, the life and death seal also kept attacking. He actually blocked it. Elder Shueihua was surprised. The other party's soul was already so strong? He was just a young man. The next moment, she felt the sky and earth spin, as if she was enveloped by someone. "Kid, do you think that by trapping me you can fuck me? You're too naive." Lin Xian laughed. "Elder Shueihua, long time no see. Your life and death curse is useless against me. If I can break it once, I can break it a second time." "What? Who are you?" Elder Shueihua was really stunned. Lin Xian recovered his original appearance. "Speaking of which, do you still recognize me? It's actually you." Chapter 46:19. Damned brat. Who the hell is he? She clearly gave Lin Xian a life and death curse, but Lin Xian wasn't affected at all. Not only that, he even became the prince consort of their Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven. Now he even appeared here, setting up a trap and waiting for her. "Could it be that you're that beast tamer genius?" "That's right," Lin Xian smiled. "That's me. Why did you come back?" Elder Shueihua was shocked. She had a bad premonition. Lin Xian coldly snorted. "You didn't treat us as humans and treated me and my friends as battle servants. Naturally, I'm here to take revenge. I want your grotto heavens to kill each other. At the same time, I want to find the power of your human world and erase it. Damn it, don't even think about it. Our 6 grotto heavens have the great sage. No matter how strong you are, you're no match for us." Elder Shueihua tried to escape as she spoke. However, this was the great sage pagoda. How could she escape? In an instant she was sent flying back. Lin Xian smiled. "Don't worry, I won't go to your headquarters, so those great sage can't threaten me. Also, why do you think you're here? Many people are already under my control. Don't you like to treat others as battle servants? I'll let you have a taste of what it's like to be a battle servant. With just you?" Elder Shui, you sneered. What if you add me? Right at this moment, a powerful soul slammed down on him. Elder Shui was sent flying and coughed up blood. His soul was injured as well. Who was it? She was really shocked. A soul storm, this was too strong. In the next moment, she saw a man walk over. His hair was gray, and his aura was extremely terrifying. Who is this? Is this the person Xiaomu said? Young master, I'll help you injure him. The rest is up to you. Xiaomu was an expert from 5,000 years ago. During these 5,000 years, he had been in the Heaven's Mystery Pagoda every day and suffered. His soul had reached an unbelievable level. Even though Elder Shueiyue was powerful, she wasn't Xiaomu's opponent. After all, Elder Shueiyue mainly controlled the younger generation, but Xiaomu could even control peak Saint Kings. Not to mention Elder Shueiyue. Not long after, Elder Shueiyue's soul was heavily injured. Lin Xian stepped on the man's head and said, "Do you still think I'm joking with you?" He used the seal of life and death to strike into his opponent's soul. Elder Shueiyue roared. She had controlled countless geniuses and made them battle servants, but in the end, she herself had become a battle servant. In the next moment, she knelt respectfully in front of Lin Xian in a very pious manner. Lin Xian laughed heartily at the sight. If he controlled Elder Shueiyue, he would be able to indirectly control the 1,000 Mountain Paradise's battle servants. This was also an extremely powerful force. Elder Shueiyue's position was very high, so when she returned, she immediately mobilized the forces of the mortal world to assassinate the Flying Fish Grotto. The abandoned fish grotto suffered heavy losses and was furious. Did you think we didn't? They also mobilized a force. After 2 grotto heavens mobilized the forces of the mortal world, the other grotto heavens also began to take action. In an instant, many elders of those grotto heavens fell. Even the few elders controlled by Lin Xian died. For example, Bai Chongxing died. He didn't feel that it was a pity. These people were all guilty and deserved to die. They all had to go to hell. The other experts in Moonlight City felt their scalps go numb. They felt that these grotto heavens had gone completely crazy, and the news had finally reached Misty Peak. The people of Misty Peak were furious. Stop this nonsense. With this order, the forces of the mortal world were immediately sealed, and the grotto heavens couldn't use them anymore. At the same time, they were furious. What exactly had happened? The experts of Misty Peak went to find out. After Lin Xian received the news, he didn't take any action. Now, the 6 grotto heavens were fighting with each other, and many geniuses and elders had died. It could be said that every grotto heaven had suffered heavy losses. Especially in the last few days, when they mobilized the forces of the mortal world. Their losses were even worse. He was very satisfied. Next was Misty Peak. However, Xiaomu said that Misty Peak's strength was even stronger than the grotto heavens. I'm afraid it would be difficult for us to fight against them. Lin Xian nodded. He would take a look first. Anyway, he had already taken revenge for the grotto heavens. If it didn't work out, he would leave first. He would come back when he was stronger. The 2 main goals of this trip were basically completed, especially rescuing his companions, which was very important to Lin Xian. Therefore, he was also preparing to leave. On the other side, the people of Misty Peak had also investigated. It was a beast tamer who had stirred up such a big storm. Damn it, where did this beast tamer come from? Did you investigate him clearly? A Saint King in front said respectfully. Reporting to Elder Pin, it was said that he was a beast tamer genius from the Green Clan of Shanghai City. He was very powerful. Shanghai City? Green Clan? The people of Misty Peak furrowed their brows tightly. This was not their territory at all. Why did the other party come here? Was there a conspiracy? The elder waved his hand, and the Saint King left. At this moment, a few people walked over to inquire. When they heard about the Green Clan of Shanghai City, they were also surprised. Xing Shan had just returned. He seemed to have mentioned the Mountain Sea Beast battles. He should know about the Green Clan. Is that so? Is Xing Shan back? Hurry up and invite him over. Xing Shan. He was from Misty Peak Star Clan. Chapter 46-20. The number 1 genius of the Green Clan had already fallen. Even if he was still alive, he wouldn't have the strength to do so. Could it be that you're mistaken? Duguju said. How could it be? It was this genius of the Green Clan who caused a storm in Moonshine City. The battle between the 6 grotto heavens started because of him. That was impossible. Xing Shan shook his head. Our Myriad Transformation sect and the Green Clan have a cooperative relationship, so I'm very familiar with the situation of the Green Clan. There was definitely no such young man, unless he wasn't from the Green Clan. Duguju's eyes lit up. Since the other party said so, it couldn't be false. Then who was this person? What was his purpose? Xing Shan said. I'm very curious about who this genius is. I've decided to go to Moonshine City to take a look. Duguju said. Don't worry, I'll go. But before that, I have to prepare. If he's really from the Green Clan, then it'll be fine. If he's not, then don't blame the Misty Peak for being impolite. A cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. The people of the Misty Peak had already moved quickly. Lin Xian didn't know that he had been targeted and even seen through. However, he knew that he didn't have much time, so he was ready to leave. On this day, the people of the White Cloud Grotto Heaven came again and said, Someone wants to see you. Young master, come with me. Lin Xian frowned. Who was it? The other party said. This person is not ordinary. He's even stronger than the people of the Grotto Heaven because he's from the Misty Peak and the Star Clan. Hearing this, Lin Xian's face immediately darkened. Someone from the Star Clan? He didn't have a good impression of the Star Clan either. He said, I don't have time to prepare to leave. The elder of the White Cloud Grotto Heaven said, We won't delay you. That person is already here. He's in our White Cloud Mansion. Young master, you can go there now. As he spoke, an aura emanated from the elder's body and locked onto Lin Xian. Lin Xian furrowed his brows slightly. Then he smiled. All right, I'll go and prepare. Lin Xian turned around and went in. The people of the White Cloud Grotto Heaven were waiting outside, their eyes cold. With a wave of their hand, the others in the dark sealed the entire courtyard. This brat would definitely not be able to escape. As long as he wanted to escape, she would immediately discover him. After Lin Xian came in, he frowned. Guyu asked, What's wrong? Lin Xian said that it was very likely that they had been discovered. Their attitude today was not right. Xiaomu said, It was a pity that the previous elder Bai had died. Otherwise, they could have used him. Lin Xian said, I think the star race has probably discovered our identities. Therefore, we shouldn't stay here for long. This time, we'll go and see what's going on. But no matter what, we have to leave immediately after this matter is over. You two stay in the Black Earth, ready to move. After that, Lin Xian walked out and followed the elder of the White Cloud Paradise to the White Cloud Mansion. This time, it was even more majestic than before. However, some of the formations were not set up yet. Even so, it was still powerful, and no one dared to provoke it. After entering, Lin Xian walked past countless pavilions and buildings. He realized that the number of people in the White Cloud Mansion had doubled. Moreover, the auras of these people were extremely cold. Lin Xian sneered in his heart. However, he acted as if he didn't know anything and continued to walk in. Soon he entered a huge hall. There were a few people waiting in the hall. One of them had an extremely terrifying aura. Not only was there starlight, there was also a mysterious energy. When Lin Xian looked at the other party, a cold light flashed in his eyes. He seemed to have seen this aura before. However, the other party was trying to hide it. Young Master Qing, you're here. The elder of the White Cloud Grotto Heaven said with a smile. Let me introduce you. Your old friend is here to see you. Old friend? Lin Xian said as he looked ahead. Where was his old friend? Why, don't you know him? The elder of the White Cloud Grotto Heaven laughed. He pointed at the figure and said, This is an expert from the Myriad Transformation sect. Isn't the Green Clan cooperating with the Myriad Transformation sect? Myriad Transformation sect. I see. Lin Xian sneered in his heart. No wonder he felt that the aura was so familiar. However, he quickly said, We do cooperate with the Myriad Transformation sect, but I can't know everyone. Xing Shan walked out and laughed. I'm not the most important person in the Myriad Transformation sect, but I'm not as bad as you say. I'm part of the cooperation with the Green Clan. However, how come I don't know that the Green Clan has such a genius? What's your name, young master? Lin Xian said coldly. How can you know everything about the Green Clan? I'm a hidden genius of the Green Clan. Really? Xing Shan sneered. Why didn't you participate in the Mountain Sea Beast Wars? At that time, the Green Clan was beaten up badly. Even the #1 genius of the Green Clan was killed. Why didn't a hidden genius like you take action? You're not from the Green Clan. Tell me, who are you? When he said the last sentence, endless starlight rushed out from his body and surrounded the entire Dalian. A terrifying aura pressed down on Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood there, unmoved. The star chart in the sky stopped and floated above Lin Xian's head. Kid, you're so good at pretending, huh? So what if you're pretending? Today I've exposed your face. You're not from the Green Clan. The elders of the White Cloud Grotto changed their expressions and walked up to Lin Xian. So it's true. Who are you? What are you plotting in the White Cloud Grotto? Lin Xian sneered. I'm not from the Green Clan. Open your eyes wide and look. Suddenly, a ball of green light appeared in his eyes and slashed forward. That gaze turned into a blade and destroyed everything. When Xing Shan saw this, he was stunned. Eyes of blade, how did you know it? At this moment, he was stunned. The Eyes of Blade was a unique eye technique of the Green Clan. No one else knew it. Logically speaking, he knew that Lin Xian was not from the Green Clan. But now, Lin Xian showed the bloodline of the Green Clan. He was completely confused. The experts of the White Cloud Grotto were also stunned. They stopped and did not take action. What's going on? Could it be a misunderstanding? At this moment, Lin Xian sneered. A vortex appeared on his body and a fiery red claw flew out and attacked Xing Shan. Xing Shan vomited blood and flew backward. Many cracks appeared on his body. His starry sky map was burned. Not good. The people of the White Cloud Grotto exclaimed. Xing Shan roared. Damn it, catch him. He's not from the Green Clan. Chapter 46:21. That's right, you guessed right. I'm not from the Green Clan. Since the other party had seen through him, he did not intend to hide it because he did not intend to stay here any longer. He was ready to go back. Damn it! The people of White Cloud Grotto roared, catch him. In an instant, countless experts gathered here. A formation was formed and 49 giant swords descended from the sky. They slashed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian did not dodge at all. He formed a seal with his palm and slammed it down on the ground. In the next moment, the ground cracked open and countless trees surrounded it, forming a powerful shield that blocked all the sword light. At the same time, the entire palace was torn apart. The surrounding people all flew into the air, feeling shocked. Damn it, it's trees, they used fire. Someone roared. An elder formed a seal and unleashed a monstrous flame that lit up the sky. However, the trees were not afraid of fire at all. In fact, as they swayed, the entire void and sea of fire collapsed. Lin Xian stood there and sneered. Stupid trash. Do you think you can hurt these trees with fire? These are demonic beasts at the peak of the Sage King realm. I'll let you people of White Cloud Grotto know what pain is. After speaking, Lin Xian roared and his golden gaze swept across the entire White Cloud mansion. The earth and sky cracked open. The 5-peaked demonic beasts had all awakened. Demonic chi filled the air and surrounded the 9 heavens. The people of White Cloud Grotto trembled, and their faces turned pale. Oh no, we're in danger. Damn it, did the other party set up these demonic beasts for this moment? Get out of here. They still remembered how the 5 demonic beasts had destroyed the people of Purple Spirit Grotto. Now they did not dare to fight back. Lin Xian sneered. Since you're here, don't leave. The demonic beasts had completely exploded. Boom. The entire White Cloud Manor, which had just been built, was destroyed once again. The bodies of the elders and disciples were like kites swaying in the wind, torn into pieces. Only some of the top experts could resist, but they also vomited blood. The people of Moonshine City were stunned. White Cloud Mansion was destroyed. Who did it? Are the experts of Purple Spirit Grotto attacking again? They all looked around, but in the next moment, the demonic beasts were dancing wildly and destroying everything. The experts of the White Cloud Grotto had fallen. At this moment, a ray of starlight lit up the world. forming a huge star chart that cut everything apart. Moreover, there were countless mysterious auras that neutralized the attacks of the demonic beasts. Xing Shan roared, his eyes turning red. In that instant he had been injured by a sneak attack. However, he was still a peak expert after all. He was extremely powerful. Now that he had recovered, he naturally wanted to retaliate. However, no matter how strong he was no match for the 5 peak demonic beasts. He could only leave quickly. He tore apart heaven and earth to escape. The people of White Cloud Grotto also wanted to escape. But not so much. In the end, only 2 elders managed to escape. The rest of them all died here. The White Cloud Mansion had been reduced to ruins, and the ground had cracked open. Lin Xian flew out from inside. His face was cold. Since he had been discovered, he had to leave quickly. However, he was still one step too late because his identity had already been exposed when Xing Shan returned. Therefore, the people of Misty Peak naturally took action. After Xing Shan escaped, he sent out a message. Hao, Duguju arrived with his men and sealed the entire Moonlight City. At the same time, a cold voice was heard. The people of the 6 Grotto Heavens, listen up. Capture the beast-taming genius with all your might. The people of Moonlight City were stunned. It was because of this beast-taming genius again. The people of the 6 Grotto Heavens were even more shocked. What was going on? Why did he suddenly want to make a move on the other party? Was it because Misty Peak was afraid of him? They did not know. However, they soon received news that this person's identity was fake. He was not a genius of the Green Clan. He must have other motives and schemes for coming here. Hearing this, the faces of the people of the 6 Grotto Heavens changed. Especially the Purple Spirit Grotto, they were the first to stand out. That detestable kid. How dare he deceive us and kill so many of our Grotto Heavens? He will definitely die. The Purple Spirit Grotto was the first to gather a large number of experts and began to search the city, preparing to capture him. The people of the other Grotto Heavens also began to move. After all, no one dared to go against Misty Peak. Just like that, the entire Moonlight City was completely sealed. Not even a fly could fly out. The other party would definitely not be able to escape. They found him. Under the joint pursuit of the 6 Grotto Heavens and Misty Peak, they finally found Lin Xian. They surrounded him. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Without hiding, he directly activated his demonic beasts and attacked. Terrifying demonic beasts covered the sky and earth, sweeping across all directions. 3-eyed vermilion bird, strange golden fish, and dark bats. Other than Lin Xian, Xiaomu and Guyu were also secretly attacking. Lin Xian attacked even more aggressively. The great spear of destruction swung wildly, bringing with it a destructive aura. However, the people of the 6 Grotto Heavens were not weak either. Furthermore, the people of Misty Peak were also here. The Star Clan joined forces and suppressed the starry sky. Lin Xian felt immense pressure. Golden light bloomed from his body. He punched the sky and sent the starry sky map flying. Many people were stunned. Some of the Grotto Heavens were shocked. This physique. Damn it, it's that kid. He's Lin Xian. A series of exclamations rang out. With this golden physique, coupled with the human ruler's seal and mountain embracing seal, everyone finally knew Lin Xian's identity. Lin Xian did not hide anymore and returned to his true appearance. He laughed coldly. That's right, it's yours truly. The 6 Grotto Heavens dared to suppress my comrade. Today, I'll make you pay the price. Kill him. The eyes of the Star Clan turned red instantly. The other party had killed a top genius of their family. Now that they had seen him, how could they let him go? In an instant, the starry sky turned into sword chi and attacked continuously. The other people of the 6 Grotto Heavens gritted their teeth. The people of the 1,000 Mountain Grotto Heavens were incomparably cold. To be honest, they were shocked as well. They had not expected the other party to be related to the 1,000 Mountain Grotto Heavens. They had to suppress the other party and cut ties. Logically speaking, any young prodigy, or even a Saint King at the peak, would be destroyed by such a terrifying attack. Unless the Great Sage was here. Of course, there was an exception, and that was Lin Xian. There were way too many beasts around Lin Xian. Even though he was outnumbered, he could control these beasts and fight back. In an instant, both parties were tied. The people of the 6 grotto heavens were shocked. Xing Shan walked over and said coldly, "Don't worry, no matter how strong this kid is, he'll run out of soul power one day. By then, he wouldn't be able to control these beasts. He would definitely die. Indeed, even if he had to exhaust his soul power today, he had to exhaust the other party to death." Lin Xian's face was cold. At this moment he set up a formation, and his body turned into nothingness and disappeared. Chapter 46-22. Xing Shan snorted coldly. "Don't worry, he can't run away. The entire Moonshine City can only be entered, but not exited." As expected, Lin Xian wanted to use the teleportation array to leave, but he found that it was blocked by a powerful star power. He could only teleport to another place to hide. Moreover, he had collected countless demonic beasts, changed his aura, and hid in the crowd. That kid had disappeared. He seemed to have a special way to disguise himself as someone else. No matter how powerful he was, he couldn't leave. Didn't he have companions in the 6 great grotto heavens as battle servants? Find those people. I don't believe that he won't come out. If he doesn't come out, I'll kill one. I want him to see his companions die in front of him. Soon, the people of the 6 great grotto heavens took action. They went back to bring all of Lin Xian's companions. At the same time, they brought another group of experts. They didn't believe that Lin Xian could escape this time. The 1,000 mountain grotto heavens also received the news and quickly took action. Elder Shueiyue stood out and took the initiative to take this mission. She brought a group of experts to Moonshine City. The people of the 1,000 mountain grotto heavens were also shocked. They didn't expect that Lin Xian would dare to go against the Misty Peak. The people of Black Ice Ancestors faction also shook their heads and sighed. But fortunately, Xueqi wasn't in the grotto heavens. She was out training. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome if she secretly helped them. Now that they didn't have to worry about that, they could take action. But unfortunately, they didn't know that even if Xueqi wasn't here, Elder Shueiyue had already become Lin Xian's battle servant. And this time, the people that Elder Shueiyue brought were all experts under his control. They listened to him completely. They could fight back at any time. Not only that, Elder Shueiyue also received Lin Xian's order. She was on her way to Moonshine City. She used a teleportation array to send out a signal. This signal was sent to the Xiantian Pavilion. This was Lin Xian's signal for help. After the people of the Xiantian Pavilion received it, they immediately took action. Jianwuk personally led countless experts of the Xiantian Pavilion and activated the teleportation array to Moonshine City. Duguju also came personally to preside over this matter. He and Xing Shan stood side by side in the 9 heavens, their gazes covering the entire Moonlight City. Xing Shan said, "Capture that brat, we can't let him die. He has a lot of secrets, an extremely powerful physique, and a terrifying soul. We have to make him our battle servant. Get all his worth." "Don't worry, I know what to do." Duguju also sneered. 2 men in battle armor knelt down on one knee and reported to the elders that the people from the 6 great grotto heavens had brought the battle servants here. "Very good. Take them to the city tower and spread the news throughout the Moonshine City. Tell that brat, it's best if he comes out obediently, and we can consider letting his friends go. Otherwise, every day, he would torture a battle servant and let his people taste the feeling of living a life worse than death." Yes, the black-armored man returned to carry out his orders. Soon, everyone in the Moonshine City knew about it, and their scalps suddenly went numb. That brat was dead for sure. Anyone who dared to provoke the ethereal peak and the 6 grotto heavens would not be able to survive. Lin Xian naturally knew about this as well. His expression was cold, but he soon sneered. He activated the seal of life and death and gave the order. After Elder Shueiyue arrived at the Moonshine City, she began to go to the other grotto heavens' residences. Then she said, "Leave Lin Xian's friends to me. I have the means to guarantee that they will suffer a life worse than death. Moreover, I won't kill them." No one expected that Shueiyue Elder would come personally. Every grotto heaven had someone like Shueiyue Elder, who was in charge of controlling the battle servants. However, these people usually didn't appear. This time, the 6 great grotto heavens only had Shueiyue Elder as a control-type elder. Naturally, Everyone believed her. However, this time, the 6 great grotto heavens still sent some elders. This time, a few elders from each grotto heaven stood out and took the initiative to accept the order. These few elders followed. Shuiyu elder and the others suppressed Lu Yuan, Guan Shaoxian and the others. They all gathered together. This time the masters of the battle servants, who were also the geniuses, also came. Ling Tian had also come. Behind him was Fu Hongye. He looked at Fu Hongye and sneered. I heard that the one who is courting death this time is your fellow disciple. Well, I'll let you see how he will be destroyed by us. When he thought about Lin Xian, he gnashed his teeth in anger. After all, Xueqi was also his dream. However, in the end he was defeated by Lin Xian. How could he tolerate it? Now was the best time for him to take revenge. He sneered and prepared to torture Fu Hongye first. She slapped Fu Hongye to the ground. At this time, Fu Hongye moved back and dodged the attack. Ling Tian was stunned. Damn it, you dare to dodge? Kneel down. As the master, he could kill the battle servants at will, and the battle servants wouldn't resist. However, today there was an exception. Fu Hongye snorted coldly. Kneel down. As he spoke, he slapped forward. Ling Tian was stunned. He was pushed back and couldn't believe it. He actually dared to attack. It seems that you are courting death. He activated the soul mark, wanting to torture Fu Hongye. However, he found that Fu Hongye was standing there coldly. Damn it, you can't control yourself? Ling Tian was so frightened that he took 2 steps back. His face was full of shock. He looked at the elders of the surrounding grotto heavens and said, Elders, let's work together to take him down. This kid is very strange. He can actually break the control of the grotto heavens. However, the surrounding elders still looked at him coldly and didn't react at all. He looked at Elder Shueiyue again because this time, Elder Shueiyue was in charge of this matter. However, Elder Shueiyue didn't react either. Damn it, what's going on? Can someone tell me what's going on? Ling Tian roared crazily. He felt that the world had gone crazy. At this time, a voice came from behind him. It's useless. They won't listen to you because they listened to me. Who is it? Ling Tian was so frightened that he turned his head abruptly. In the next moment, he saw a figure walking over. It's you. He recognized Lin Xian at a glance. Damn kid, you actually dare to come out. Elder Shueiyue, take him down. It's this kid. Elder Shueiyue and the other elders of the grotto heavens turned their heads to look at Lin Xian and bowed respectfully. Greetings, Lord. Ling Tian was stunned. He was so frightened that his scalp went numb. His eyes were about to fall out. Heavens, what's going on? What did I see? These powerful elders of the grotto heavens actually attacked the other party like this, and even called him Lord. Damn it. How can an ant receive such treatment? He looked at those young geniuses again. Bai Tsung Lan Chao. Qingfeng. What are you doing? Hurry up and attack him. Hurry up and inform the grotto heavens. Chapter 46-23. Lin Xian slapped Ling Tian, sending him flying. Stupid ant, can't you see what's going on? They're all my battle servants now. If I want them to live, they'll live. If I want them to die, none of them can live. No. This can't be real. Ling Tian went crazy. What kind of method was this? This was heaven-defying. Could the elders and geniuses of the grotto heaven be controlled? Lin Xian sneered. I've wanted to kill you for a long time, but Hongye said that she wanted to do it herself. So now's the time. Hongye walked over and said, Don't worry, junior martial uncle. I'll kill him myself. Aunt, you think you can do it? Ling Tian roared. Fu Hongye said coldly, Do you really think you're so high and mighty? You're just lucky to be born in the grotto heaven. Although we came from other worlds, our talent is definitely not inferior to yours. The only thing we lacked was some luck. Now that your luck is back, what right do you have to be arrogant in front of us? Fu Hongye, Lin Xian, and the others came from other worlds. They once stood at the peak of the world, and even the universe. They were unparalleled existences. Their talent and strength were top-notch. It was only after they were suppressed that they became battle servants. If they were given the same opportunity and time, defeating Ling Tian and the others wouldn't be a problem. Now was the time for Fu Hongye to prove herself. Ling Tian sneered and looked at Lin Xian. He gritted his teeth and said, "Kid, don't make a move if you have the guts. I want to fight him one-on-one." Lin Xian said indifferently, "Don't worry, we won't make a move. This is a battle between the two of you." "All right, that's what you said. Watch how I deal with this kid." He walked over with large strides. His speed was extremely fast, like lightning. His palms formed a seal, turning into a divine disc, and slammed forward. How could the other party be his opponent in a one-on-one battle? But this time he was wrong. Fu Hongye snorted, and a red leaf flew over. It turned into a peerless lightning bolt, and pierced the other party's palm. Ling Tian retreated, his face full of shock. Damn it, how is this possible? As his battle servant, he was well aware of the other party's strength. Why did it exceed his imagination? Fu Hongye sneered. "Do you really think I've always been your battle servant? It's not like that anymore." After he finished speaking, he erupted with an extremely cold radiance. The terrifying red leaf carried with it a monstrous power of laws as it charged over. Dozens of red leaves danced in the sky as fast as lightning. Ling Tian roared and used all of his strength to counterattack. He was a top genius of the heavenly grotto, so how could he lose? However, after 30 moves he was injured again. This time, one of his arms was cut off and turned into a bloody mist. After 50 moves he was split in half. Damn it, he was finally frightened. "Don't hit me, spare my life. Too strong." Although his cultivation was higher than the other party's experience and decisiveness were not things that he possessed. This wasn't something that could only be achieved by going through hundreds of battles. It required countless battles of life and death. Ling Tian had never experienced such a battle before. But Fu Hongye had it. This was the difference between the two. "Don't kill me." Ling Tian was scared. He immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Fu Hongye. Then he looked at Lin Xian. "Please spare my life. Please spare me, spare my life. Even if you treat me as a battle servant, that's fine." Fu Hongye walked over with large strides and sneered. "A battle servant? You don't have the right." A red leaf penetrated the other party's forehead, killing his soul. Ling Tian fell to the ground, his soul destroyed. Even until his death, he could not believe that he was killed by his battle servant. At the same time, Lin Xian waved his hand and said to Lu Yuan, Leng Aojuan, and the others, "You guys can do it too." Lu Yuan, Shangguan Shaoxian, and the others attacked together, killing Bai Tsong, Qing Feng, Lan Chao, and the other geniuses. Then they roared at the sky. They had been too aggrieved during this period, and now they finally had their revenge. "Young martial uncle, what should we do next?" These people came to Lin Xian's side. Lin Xian said, "Put on a good show, then we'll leave. I'll bring you to a big sect, and you can cultivate there. Old Xiao, I'll need your help next." Xiao Mu walked out, took out a few beasts and extracted their souls. Then he used the bodies of Ling Tian, Lan Chao, and the others to fuse with them. In the next moment, phantoms appeared one after another, and then they turned into the same scene as Fu Hongye and the others. It was equivalent to a clone. "That would do. That's great." Fu Hongye and the others smiled. They were waiting in the dark. Next, Elder Shuiwei received the order, and quickly led the fake clones up the city tower. Then the news was spread. They gave Lin Xian a day to show himself. Otherwise, these people would suffer a fate worse than death. Countless saints in Moonlight City were shocked. They looked up at the figures on the city tower, shook their heads and sighed. It was a pity that they dared to go against the Paradise and Misty Peak. These people were doomed. A day later, Lin Xian did not appear. Duguju's face darkened, and he took action. Soon, the people of the Six Great Paradise attacked the battle servants. Thunder and flames surged out, burning the battle servants and causing them to roar crazily. Of course, this was only the beast's souls roaring. As for the bodies, they were the bodies of dead geniuses. They were just transformed by Xiao Mu's peerless ability. In their eyes, Lu Yuan, Fu Hongye, and the others were being punished. The people of the Six Great Paradise laughed proudly. The people of Misty Peak were also cold. They were going to tell the world. This was the result of provoking them. Let's see who would dare to challenge them in the future. 3 days later, Those battle servants were already on the verge of death. None of them were in good shape. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. They were terrified. In the future they could not offend the 6 Great Paradise, let alone Misty Peak. However, on the 3rd day, a figure walked out. It was Lin Xian. The people of Thousand Mountain Paradise were the first to roar. The people of the other paradises also moved out. They stood in the 9 heavens and laughed coldly. Kid, you're finally out. Why? Can't take it anymore? If you come out now, your friends can still live. Otherwise, they'll all go to hell. Kneel on the ground obediently and accept our punishment. Cold voices rang out one after another. In the sky, 2 figures walked out. They were Duguju and Xingshan. The 2 of them stood side by side. Behind them were some Misty Peak experts. They were like gods, looking down at Lin Xian. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at these people. He laughed coldly. Just with you guys? You can't catch me. Today, I'm here to tell you that I'm leaving today. This is a punishment for you guys, but it's not over yet. One day I'll come again. Chapter 46-24. His cold voice rang out in all directions. Everyone in the Moonlight City felt their scalps go numb. This was the only person who dared to say such harsh words in front of the 6 grottos and Misty Peak. Sure enough, when the surrounding people heard this, they also raised their heads and laughed. In the sky, the people of Misty Peak snorted coldly. You want to leave today? Don't you think you're thinking too much? Xingshan's face darkened. These are his friends, right? Find 2 of them, and kill them on the spot. I want him to see his friends with his own eyes, because he's going to hell. Soon Lu Yuan and Shengguan Shaoxian were dragged over. Both of them were covered in blood. And their souls were still screaming. At this moment, the other 2 elders walked over as well. Energy exploded from their bodies, and they were about to strike at the next moment. However, this slap did not land on Lu Yuan and Shengguan Shaoxian. Instead, it landed on the elders of Misty Peak. Instantly, the 2 elders of Misty Peak were sent flying, their bodies torn apart. Their souls were screaming. Damn it, how dare you attack me? The surrounding people were stunned as well. Oh my god, what's going on? Xingshan's face darkened. Duguju even shouted coldly. Qianshan Grottos, Howren Grottos, how dare you? How dare you betray Misty Peak? His cold voice was filled with boundless killing intent. However, just as he finished speaking, a few more explosions could be heard. The other elders of Misty Peak were sent flying as well, vomiting blood. This time it was Green Hill Grottos and Flying Feather Grottos. Everyone in the Moonlight City went crazy. What was going on with these 4 grottos? How dare they attack Misty Peak? Could it be that they had already betrayed Misty Peak? Were they on Lin Xian's side now? The elders of Misty Peak roared as well. Damn it, how dare you attack? Lin Xian laughed out loud. That's right, they're on my side now. Misty Peak, do you still have the right to be arrogant in front of me now? Damn it. Duguju gritted his teeth as well, glaring at Lin Xian. The other elders of the grottos roared crazily. Elder Dugu, don't listen to him. We're not on his side at all. We've always been on Misty Peak's side. Yes, you can believe them. More people of Misty Peak will die in the end. Lin Xian laughed coldly. Duguju and the others shouted coldly. Don't move. Everyone from your grottos stay here. The 4 grottos. Why did you attack? Why are you on that brat's side? Xingshan gritted his teeth and said. It was an eye technique. They were probably being controlled. You also know that he can control demonic beasts at the late stage of the Saint King realm. He can even control demonic beasts at the peak of the Saint King realm. You can imagine how terrifying his soul power and eye technique are. Naturally, he didn't believe that everyone in the grotto heaven was being controlled. However, he couldn't tell who was being controlled and who wasn't. This was a very awkward situation. Duguju gritted his teeth and said, Quick, let's do it ourselves. The Misty Peak people walked up and stood in front of the battle servants. Brat, so what if you can control the grottos? Don't you want your friends' lives? That's right. If he values his friends then, they still have a chance. Lin Xian laughed out loud. Of course I value my friends. But it's a pity that they've come to my side. He waved his hand. and a few figures flew over. They were Lu Yuan, Li Hongxiu, Shengguan Shaoxian, and the others. How could this be? The Misty Peak people's eyes popped out. Have these people been saved? Then who were they torturing for the past few days? Damn it! Elder Xingshan was furious. He attacked crazily, hitting these people. Soon, their bodies were torn apart, and their souls flew out, turning into the souls of demonic beasts. They roared into the sky. As for those bodies, they astonished the crowd even more. That's Ling Tian. Lan Chao. Damn it, that's the genius of our grottos. The elders were crazy. They had been torturing their own geniuses for the past few days. The elders of the grottos felt like they were about to break down. They had never suffered such a big loss, and the other party was just a young man. Kill him. The elders of the grottos roared crazily. The Misty Peak people were even colder. They attacked. Countless people rushed up, and a great battle broke out. Want to fight? Let's fight to the end. Lin Xian summoned many demonic beasts, and at the same time, the immemorial demonic mountain pressed down. The few people who were close to it were sent flying. Moon walked out as well. On the other side, Fu Hongye, Lu Yuan, and the others also attacked aggressively. Although they couldn't defeat the elders, they had no problem fighting against the young disciples. More importantly, Elder Shueiyue and the other elders who were being controlled also attacked. Especially Elder Shueiyue, who led a group of battle servants and attacked aggressively. And they were attacking the Misty Peak. The Misty Peak people were so angry that they vomited blood. You will die today. Duguju shouted coldly and slashed out. Although he was only a late-stage Saint King, his combat strength was heaven-defying. His strength was equivalent to a peak Saint King. In front of Lin Xian, the three-eyed vermilion bird rushed over and shot out flames, blocking the shocking blade light. I don't believe that you can survive today. Star Mountain also came down forcefully. It was like a star mountain, bringing with it an incomparably terrifying power. Lu Yuan and the others vomited blood and retreated. Lin Xian also retreated. Xiao Mu shouted coldly, and the phantasmal sound song exploded, and the terrifying heavenly sound attacked. The star map on Xingshan's body shook. It's useless. Xingshan sneered. This time, we are well prepared. With a wave of his hand, a few more terrifying experts walked over. They were the experts of the Star Race and the Misty Peak. The people of the 6 grottos also attacked crazily, and for a moment, Lin Xian and the others were suppressed. What to do? Lu Yuan and the others looked terrible. Lin Xian sneered. He took out the Xiantian token and crushed it. The space between heaven and earth shattered, and the enchantment that sealed Moonlight City was also broken. A huge whirlpool appeared, and many people walked out. The leader was a middle-aged man with a long sword on his back, and his sword chi was overwhelming. Beside him was an elder covered in golden light. Other than that, there were many experts. Their auras covered the sky, and even the people of the 6 grottos felt their scalps go numb. The warriors in Moonlight City, who were watching the battle, prostrated on the ground in fear. Who are these people? They are too scary. Duguju's pupils shrank. Jianwuk, it's you. Is the Xiantian Pavilion going against us again? Last time, Lin Xian had been rescued by the people of the Xiantian Pavilion. This time, Jianwuk had come again. Furthermore, he had brought even more experts with him. Lin Xian is from the Xiantian Pavilion. If he is in danger, how can we not come? Jianwuk said coldly. Elder Golden Light shouted coldly. Whoever dares to touch him, I will destroy their souls. A terrifying voice shook the sky. Chapter 46-25. Duguju's face turned ugly. But at this moment, Xingshan stepped out and said coldly, Is Xiantian Pavilion that powerful? But at most, you can go against Misty Peak. If we join in, can Xiantian Pavilion stop us? Hearing this, many people's faces changed. Even the people from Xiantian Pavilion frowned. He didn't expect that the people of Myriad Transformation Sect would also be involved. This was also a top sect. Xiaomu stepped out and said coldly, What if we join in? Also, young Master Lin is the champion of the Mountain Sea Beast battles. He has the protection of the Mountain Sea Palace. Killing him means going against the Mountain Sea Palace. Does Myriad Transformation Sect want to go against the Mountain Sea Palace, or even the entire Shanghai city? Hearing this, Xingshan's face darkened. Although Myriad Transformation Sect was not afraid of the Mountain Sea Palace, he could not represent Myriad Transformation Sect. Moreover, Myriad Transformation Sect would not go against the Mountain Sea Palace. After all, offending the Beast Tamer family was not good for them. Therefore, Xingshan did not say anything. He was clenching his teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. Duguju's face turned cold as well. All right, Jian Wuk, Lin Xian, I'll remember you too. This isn't over yet. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Of course it's not over yet. Do you think this is over? I won't forgive you for what you've done in the past. This time, I'm just teaching you a lesson. One day, I'll descend upon you again. At that time, all of you will have to submit to me. The figures of Lin Xian and the rest gradually faded and disappeared from Moonlight City. Although Lin Xian had left, news of what had happened spread like wildfire. Soon everyone in the northern region knew about it. Countless people were shocked. How terrifying would such a top genius be when he grew up? They did not dare to imagine. On the other side, Lin Xian and the rest left Moonlight City and returned to Xiantian Pavilion. When they arrived at Xiantian Pavilion, they heaved a sigh of relief. They had been on tenterhooks all this time. But now everything was fine. Well done, little guy. Elder Jingguang walked over. They already knew what had happened before, and it was really satisfying. Jian Wuk was surprised as well. He had not expected Lin Xian to be able to stir up such a huge storm all by himself. The 6 great grotto heavens had suffered such a huge loss. Lin Xian said, "This was all thanks to old Xiao." The people of Xiantian Pavilion naturally welcomed Xiao Mu. He was the patriarch of the Xiao clan, and they needed to refine a batch of demonic beasts. Therefore, the two sides discussed for a long time. As for Lu Yuan and the others, Lin Xian personally found Jian Wushuang and explained his thoughts. After this, Lin Xian might have to travel around. As for Hong Yi, Lu Yuan and the others, he planned to let them stay here. After all, these people were treated as battle servants and didn't cultivate properly. Now it was time for them to start cultivating normally. Jian Wuk naturally agreed with this point as well. These people were all top-notch geniuses. If they could join the Xiantian Pavilion, it would make the Xiantian Pavilion even stronger. Just like that, this matter was settled. Lin Xian was not in a hurry to leave. He stayed in the Xiantian Pavilion for 2 months. During this time, he learned some things about the Xiantian Pavilion. Especially when he learned that when he left the Xiantian Pavilion, there were experts from the 6 Great Grotto Heavens sect who came looking for him. He had even stayed here for a long time. Lin Xian was shocked. It was really too dangerous. He couldn't let his guard down. The people from the 6 Great Grotto Heavens sect would definitely come looking for him again. 2 months later, when Lin Xian was about to leave, Fu Hongye, Lu Yuan, Shangguan Shaoxian, and the others walked up to him and said, "Junior Marshal Uncle, we'll be cultivating here. We'll meet up with you when we get back." Li Hongxiu also walked over and said, "Thank you so much for this time." Lin Xian smiled. "Why are you being so polite with me?" He then looked at Hong Yi and the others. "All right, I will be more careful." He said goodbye to these people, then to Jian Wuk, Elder Jingguang, and the others. He, Xiao Mu, and Guyu took the teleportation array and left. This time, they returned to Shanghai City. The people of the Xiao clan were very happy. The clan leader had finally returned safely. They were afraid that Xiao Mu would be gone for another 5,000 years. When Xiao Shiyu received the news, she rushed back from the Shanghai palace. When she looked at Lin Xian, her eyes turned red. "You rascal, I really thought you wouldn't come back." Lin Xian said, "I promised you that I would come back." Next, Lin Xian stayed in the Xiao clan for a period of time. Then he went to the Shanghai palace. Elder Ruochen of the Shanghai palace was naturally happy. When he was free, he would spar with Lin Xian. Lin Xian also had a deep understanding. However, on this day, Elder Ruocheng's brows were tightly knitted together. He found Lin Xian and said, "Little rascal, I'm afraid you are in trouble." Lin Xian said, "What trouble?" Elder Ruochen said, "We have received news that the people of the 6th Dao sect are looking for you. They are already rushing toward Shanghai City. Lin Xian frowned. It was the 6 Dao sect again. Damn it, it must have been those people from Misty Peak who told the 6 Dao sect about him. These people are really courting death. Elder Ruochen said. What grudge do you have between you two? If it isn't a life and death grudge, the Shanghai Palace can help you resolve it. Lin Xian said. Thank you, Senior, but I'm afraid it can't be resolved. The other party wanted his eyes. How could he agree to it? This was a grudge that couldn't be resolved. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Thank you, Senior, and the Shanghai Palace for this period of time. I am very grateful, but I can't stay here any longer. I don't want to bring trouble to the Shanghai Palace. Okay. Elder Ruochen nodded. Since it couldn't be resolved, he didn't want Lin Xian to face the 6 Dao sect. After all, it was a terrifying sect that was rumored to be related to the 9 Dao sect. Lin Xian was about to leave. Xiao Shiyu ran over after hearing the news. Her eyes were red again. Are you leaving now? Lin Xian said. It's an emergency, so I have to leave. Cultivate well here. When I have time, I'll come back to see you. Xiao Shiyu nodded and asked, where do you plan to go next? Lin Xian hesitated. To be honest, he didn't know where to go next. Elder Ruochen walked over and said, Young Master Lin is a young genius. I think you're walking the path of the great emperor. Also, it seems like you want to fight with more geniuses. I have a place to recommend you. Senior, where is it? Lin Xian was interested. Elder Ruochen smiled. Taiching Ancient City. Taiching Ancient City. What is that place? Is it an antiquity city? Elder Ruochen nodded. That's right. You told me that you've been to Qianquan Ancient City. Taiching Ancient City is an antiquity city like Qianquan Ancient City. Taiching Ancient City is even more terrifying. There are more geniuses and experts there. Countless experts who want to walk the path of the great emperor are fighting there. You won't be disappointed there. Really? Lin Xian was even happier. I wonder if Senior has a map to Taiching Ancient City. Chapter 46-26. It seems like you've made up your mind to go. A map? Yes, but there's a simpler way. Come with us. We're planning to head to Taiching Ancient City in 3 days. Senior, you're going too? Lin Xian was surprised. Elder Ruochen smiled. Our Shanghai Palace has some matters regarding monsters that need to be dealt with. So I'm going there with a few elders. I want to go too. Xiao Shiyu stood up, but Elder Yen Luo said, Disciple, you should just stay here and cultivate. Your seal of life and death is at the most crucial moment. You can't give up halfway. Not everyone was like Lin Xian, who had a heaven-defying eye technique and could quickly master a secret technique like the seal of life and death. Even a top genius like Xiao Shiyu would need a long time to master it. All right then. Xiao Shiyu sighed helplessly. She looked at Lin Xian and said, You must remember to come back and visit me. Lin Xian smiled. Don't worry. Next he started to prepare. He would leave with Elder Ruochen in 3 days. On the other side, 6 Dao sects sent an expert. It was the great sage. He was filled with killing intent. Damn Xiantian Pavilion. How dare they lie to me? He chased them all the way to Xiantian Pavilion and found nothing unusual. Then he went to Shanghai Palace. This time, he had to capture the other party. Over at Shanghai City, Elder Ruochen and the others were ready to leave. They rode on a lightning sparrow surrounded by lightning. It spread its wings and tore through the void, disappearing. She was extremely fast and left Shanghai City in an instant. Not long after they left, a figure descended. The terrifying aura of the great sage was everywhere. He didn't hide it at all. Countless people in the city felt their scalps go numb. This aura was too strong. The monsters roared as they couldn't withstand this power. Where is Lin Xian? A cold voice sounded. The people in Shanghai City were stunned. This person was here to find Lin Xian? Xiao Clan. After Xiao Mu learned of this, his face turned gloomy and cold. Were the experts of the Misty Peak here? Fortunately, he had learned that Lin Xian and the Mountain Sea Palace's Elder Ruochen had left, so he managed to avoid a calamity. Xiao Shiyu and the other elders of the Mountain Sea Palace were equally shocked. Go and find out who this person is. When they learned that it was people from the Six Dao sect, they secretly exclaimed that it was a close call. The eyes of the people of the Green Clan turned red. Great, this was a great opportunity. They secretly transmitted the message to the great sage. Senior, that Lin Xian is no longer in the Mountain Sea Palace. The people of the Mountain Sea Palace set off for Taiching Ancient City. Not long after he left, high up in the sky, the great sage let out a cold snort. He soared into the air and quickly left. Everyone thought that he had given up. However, the people from the Green Clan were laughing coldly. Being targeted by a great sage, they wanted to see how that brat would die this time. The other party had killed their number one genius, so they couldn't accept it. This time, they could borrow the power of the great sage to get rid of the other party. That would be great. Lightning streaked across the sky, covering thousands of miles. The lightning sparrow was extremely fast. There were several palaces on its back, and Lin Xian, Elder Ruochen, and the others were there. Lin Xian stood beside Qian Fang and felt the aura around him. He also sighed. The methods of beast tamers were really too powerful. Elder Ruochen's lightning sparrow was a peak Saint King demonic beast. Its speed was shocking. Even so, it would take a long time to get to Taiching Ancient City. One could imagine how vast the buried Emperor Star was. This was the Tianxian continent. The other continents were also extremely terrifying. What kind of experts were there in Taiching Ancient City? How were Qingqing and Qiu? This time, he had rescued most of his fellow disciples from Wushuang City and his friends. However, there was no news about Murong Qingqing and Xinjing Qiu. However, with their talent and background, there shouldn't be much of a problem. Their situation should be better than his. 5 days later, Elder Ruochen said that there was still half a month before they would arrive. Why don't we have a spar? Lin Xian's interest was piqued. Elder Ruochen was extremely strong, even stronger than Xiao Mu. With such a person's guidance, Yi Xian's eye techniques and soul power would improve very quickly. The other elders also smiled. They were very satisfied with Lin Xian's talent. Such a person's future was limitless. However, at this moment, Elder Ruochen suddenly stopped and turned his head to look into the distance. Even Lin Xian had a solemn expression on his face. What happened? The other elders and disciples asked. Lin Xian said that there was a powerful aura coming towards them. Elder Ruochen nodded. That's right, and it seemed to be a great sage. The other elders and disciples of Mountain Sea Palace were shocked. Not long after, the other elders also sensed it, and their faces turned ugly. It shouldn't be coming for us, right? Maybe it's just a great sage passing by, so they didn't pay much attention to it. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together as a cold glint flickered in his eyes. Is it really just passing by? He glanced at Elder Ruochen. Elder Ruochen nodded and changed direction. The lightning sparrow turned and changed direction, flying in another direction. A day later, Elder Ruochen stood up with a serious expression. It's coming for us. Indeed, they had changed direction this time. If the other party was just passing by, then the other party's aura should have disappeared. However, they felt the other party's aura again. It was getting closer and closer. This was definitely not a coincidence. The others of Mountain Sea Palace said. We don't have any powerful enemies, and it's impossible for us to send a great sage here. Lin Xian said that if it's not coming for you, then it's coming for me. When these words came out, those people were shocked. Is it coming for Lin Xian? Could it be? They all looked at Elder Ruochen. Elder Ruochen nodded. It should be someone from Six Dao sect. Someone from Six Dao sect. The other elders were shocked. Six Dao sect was very far from Shanghai City, and the other party had sent a great sage to capture Lin Xian. Why? What did Lin Xian have that the Six Dao sect would spend so much effort to capture him? Speed up. Elder Ruochen formed hand seals. Lightning danced around the lightning sparrow, and it suddenly sped up. Behind them, the great sage snorted. Since we've found you, don't even think about escaping. He also used a divine ability, and his strength and speed exploded. Although the lightning sparrow was a lightning-type beast and had an advantage, it was still a great sage chasing after it. Its speed was even faster. Therefore, The distance between the two parties was getting closer and closer. Everyone could feel the great sage's aura above them, and it would descend at any moment. What should we do, Elder? Chapter 46-27. Elder Ruochen's expression was equally cold. Lin Xian stood up and said, "Let's split up. He's coming for me, so I won't drag you guys down." "What do you mean? Am I someone who's afraid of being dragged down?" Elder Ruochen said. "Sit down obediently. I'm here." Lin Xian said, "Senior, I know you're good to me, but this time, it's the great sage. I can't harm you. If you leave alone, you'll definitely die. If we stay together, we still have a chance. My Mountain Sea Palace isn't weak either. So what if he's the great sage? My Mountain Sea Palace's palace master can control monsters on the level of the great sage. I don't believe he dares to attack." Indeed, since the Mountain Sea Palace was able to dominate a region, they definitely weren't weak. Moreover, they had connections with many top sections. No matter how strong the Six Dao sect was, they couldn't attack directly. Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He was already accumulating strength in secret. He gathered all the resources he had obtained in the past and placed them in a few storage rings. If the situation wasn't good, he would use these resources to awaken the great dragon sword soul and deal a shocking blow. If it really didn't work out, he would enter the Great Sage Tower and let Elder Ruocheng and the others use it to leave. The Six Dao sect had sent the Great Sage to hunt him down twice. He definitely wouldn't let him go. Elder Ruochen frowned. Only a few people knew about their arrival. How did he catch up? It seemed like someone in Shanghai City had secretly sent information to him. Don't let me find out who it is. Elder Ruochen's eyes were filled with killing intent. The person in front, stop, or don't blame me for being impolite. Just at this moment he heard a thunderous roar. Countless daos intertwined in the sky, forming sword lights that descended. The terrifying aura caused the lightning sparrow's body to tremble. Elder Ruochen snorted and formed a seal. The lightning sparrow's eyes lit up, and it quickly dodged. At the same time he shouted, "Who dares to attack the Mountain Sea Palace? Are you tired of living? I'm from the Six Dao sect. I'm here to capture a young man. I don't want to be your enemy. Leave him there, and I'll let you leave safely." "What if I don't?" Elder Ruochen said. The great sage coldly snorted. "If you resist, then don't blame me for being impolite." Mountain Sea. The Six Dao sect is so arrogant. Are they really not afraid of the Mountain Sea Palace bringing tens of thousands of demon beasts to attack them? As he spoke, Elder Ruochen took out another monstrous beast from his monstrous beast sack. It was a plant, and the leaves on it were like mirrors. It was very magical. And the plants spread out in all directions, forming mirages just like Lin Xian and the others. Then, Elder Ruochen controlled the lightning sparrow to change its direction, leaving behind the illusion from before. Not long after, the great sage descended and said coldly, "Die." He struck out with his palm, which carried a destructive aura. The surrounding void shattered endlessly, and the illusion was also torn apart. A few drops of blood dripped down from it. "You're courting death. How dare you do that before me? You're courting death." He increased his speed. "You should be able to stall for some time," Elder Ruochen said. But right after he said that, his expression changed. That was because he discovered that the person behind them had caught up to them again. Damn it. Did I get discovered so quickly? As expected of the great sage. Quickly. He continued to activate the lightning sparrow. The lightning on the lightning sparrow's body burned, making it even faster. But right at that moment, a golden fist came from behind. It was incomparably powerful. Oh no. Everyone's eyes turned red. They were going to die. Lin Xian coldly snorted. He took out a willow branch from his storage ring and shot it toward the sky. That willow branch emitted tens of thousands of rays of light. It grew bigger and bigger until it turned into the illusion of a willow tree. It blocked that shocking fist. There was a loud boom. The willow branch split into two halves from the middle, and the fist also slowly disappeared. "Run!" Elder Ruochen roared and started to form hand seals. The lightning sparrow's bloodline was burning, and its lifespan was rapidly decreasing. His speed was extremely fast. The people of Mountain Sea Palace above were all stunned. It was too dangerous. That attack just now would have killed them, but he blocked it. What was Lin Xian holding? Elder Ruochen said. That should be a life-saving measure given to you by the Shao clan. Lin Xian nodded. He took back the 2 halves of the willow branch. Although it was broken, there was still some aura on it. It could still be used in the future. However, it would be difficult to block another attack from the Great Sage. One had to admit that the Great Sage was really too powerful. Even if Lin Xian had the Great Sage Pagoda now. But if he really faced the Great Sage's attack, the Great Sage Pagoda might not be able to block it. He would probably be injured if he stayed inside. At that moment, the lightning sparrow under his feet wailed, and turned into white bones. Its bloodline and life had been completely burned away. Elder Ruochen took out another beast and continued to fly. He also burned his bloodline. After 3 times, their faces became extremely ugly. There were not many peak-level beasts left in their hands. However, the Great Sage's power was endless. It was not something they could compare to. Were they really going to be captured by the other party today? Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He looked around, trying to think of a way. Chapter 46-28. The sky darkened in an instant. Countless bolts of lightning filled the air before descending. A bolt of thunder transformed into a giant sword that tore through heaven and earth, shattering the towering mountain before it. There was a figure inside. That figure shone with a terrifying purple light as he roared and punched the sky. It struck the lightning, tearing a crack in the catastrophe of heaven and earth. One could imagine how powerful that person's physique was. The thunder in the sky was even more terrifying. After the first bolt, countless bolts of thunder continued to descend. Thunderbolts intertwined and turned into dragons that swept through heaven and earth. The purple figure below fought back with his powerful physique. Not only was he transcending tribulation, but he was also tempering himself. If anyone else saw this scene, they would be scared silly. Such a physique was definitely at the top of the world. Yi Dao Denier's black hair danced wildly as his purple aura swept through heaven and earth. He was like the divine king, possessing the power to split heaven and earth apart. His power grew stronger and stronger, like a celestial emperor. In the end, the purple light around him turned into a purple figure. It was like a god had descended, sweeping through the world. In the distance, the old men were overjoyed. The middle-aged man in front also clenched his fists. This breakthrough was a small matter. The most important thing was the Celestial Emperor Scripture. The Celestial Emperor Scripture was the Yi clan's supreme technique, the inheritance of the great emperor. It was extremely difficult to cultivate, and one had to be at least a sage ruler to use it. Now Yi Dao Denier was qualified to comprehend the Celestial Emperor Scripture. As for whether he could succeed and reach the first layer of the Celestial Emperor Scripture, that would depend on himself. What a terrifying bolt of lightning! Ruochen, Lin Xian, and the others quickly fled, constantly changing directions. Suddenly, they saw 10,000 bolts of lightning descending as if the end of the world was coming. Someone was transcending tribulation. They quickly flew in that direction. If the great sage's lightning appeared, it would be fatal. They wanted to use the tribulation to scare him away. Behind them, the great sage of the 6 Daos sect roared when he saw this. He increased his speed, and at the same time, he unleashed a terrifying divine ability. Terrifying fists appeared from all directions, forming a hexagonal barrier that enveloped Lin Xian and the others. They wanted to seal him. Lin Xian and the others were terrified. In the next moment, it was completely sealed. Damn it, they were already very close to thunder, but they couldn't get any closer. Even if they risked their lives, they still wouldn't be able to open the seal. The expert from the 6 Dao sect descended from the sky. He stepped across the land and coldly said, "Where are you going to run now?" The Mountain Sea Palace's elders were terrified. The younger disciples almost fainted from fright. Even Elder Ruochen's face was ice cold. "Are you really going to attack the Mountain Sea Palace?" "Don't worry, for the sake of your Mountain Sea Palace, I'll spare your lives this time. But I have to take this kid with me." He stared at Lin Xian. Instantly, Lin Xian felt all the blood in his body freeze. This was the great sage. He was able to make him unable to move with a single glance. No, Elder Ruochen said. He is also a member of the Mountain Sea Palace. Touching him is the same as touching the Mountain Sea Palace. You can't represent the Mountain Sea Palace. Also, the sect master of the Six Daos sect personally asked for this kid's item. Even if your sect master was here today, I would still take him with me. The great sage of the Six Daos sect coldly said. Then he reached out with his hand. Elder Ruochun and the others roared crazily. However, under the great sage's aura, they couldn't move at all. They were completely suppressed. It's over. Is Lin Xian really going to die? Elder Ruochun and the others despaired. If such a top genius were to fall, it would be a huge loss. Lin Xian felt the palm pressing down on him. Cracks appeared on his body. No matter how strong the nine-yang divine body was, he was only at the early stage of the Sage King realm. The difference between them was too great. He still wasn't a match for the great sage. However, it was impossible for the great sage to capture him. He wouldn't just sit there and wait for death. With a roar, Lin Xian circulated the dragon's breathing technique to block the attack. Lin Xian felt that he could move. He took out the great dragon sword soul, and a dragon-shaped sword image appeared. At the same time, the 3 storage rings split open and endless energy poured into the dragon-shaped sword image. The sword swept across. It completely destroyed the great sage's aura. At the same time, the huge barrier beside him was also split open. Lin Xian's figure flashed and he appeared outside the barrier, dodging the attack. Did he dodge it? Elder Luochun and the others were stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to escape from the great sage. The great sage of the Six Dao sect was also stunned. Then he sneered. As expected of the person who obtained the inheritance. To be able to block my aura, he does have some tricks up his sleeve. You're one of the top in the younger generation. However, your path ends here. His palm became even more terrifying as it pressed down from the sky. All kinds of heaven and earth phenomena appeared on his palm. Endless Dao surrounded him. This attack was something that no one below the great sage could block. Lin Xian roared. He held the great dragon sword soul with both hands and slashed forward. The roar of a dragon resounded between the heavens and the earth, shaking everything. The terrifying sword chi made Elder Ruochen and the others' hair stand on end. What kind of sword was this? It was too shocking. Was this really something that a young man could use? Why did it seem like an attack from the great sage? When the dragon-shaped sword image and the golden palm collided, the two exploded with a destructive aura. Endless Dao swept out. Elder Ruochen and the others vomited blood and were sent flying. At this moment, there was nothing that could block it. The aura spread and the surrounding mountains shattered. The figures in front suddenly turned their heads. Was someone attacking? No, someone was fighting. This power belonged to the great sage. They couldn't let him affect Wu Dao's breakthrough. Their expressions changed instantly. The middle-aged man stepped forward and tore through the void. The next moment he arrived nearby. The great sage of the Six Dao sect roared, "Die!" He couldn't imagine that the other party could block his attack. Lin Xian's face was pale. He had used up a lot of energy to fight the great sage. However, he wouldn't admit defeat. Another 3 storage rings flew out. Lin Xian was ready to use the power inside. However, at this moment, a cold shout came from above. Scram. Then a purple fist turned into a meteor. It flew out. An earth-shattering sound erupted. Not good. This is also the power of the great sage. Lin Xian took out the great sage pagoda. At the same time, he used the void escape and arrived beside Elder Ruochun and the others. He brought them into the great sage pagoda. Then the great sage pagoda was sent flying. Lin Xian and the others inside felt their blood boil. Chapter 46-29. Elder Chung said that another great sage had arrived. This storm lasted for a long time before it slowly disappeared. When Lin Xian and the others came out, they gasped when they saw the destruction around them. Was this the great sage's attack? At this moment, there was not a single place that was intact. In the chaos, there were only 2 figures standing there. One of them was surrounded by a golden light. It was the great sage of the Sixth Tao sect. The other person was surrounded by a purple aura. He was like the divine king. Behind him, the lightning covered the mountain range and was indeed intact. It was obvious that this person was protecting the person going through the tribulation. The great sage of the Sixth Tao sect was pale. This person was actually able to block his attack. Moreover, this person's body and strength were even stronger than his. He felt like his entire palm was about to split open. "Who are you? How dare you interfere in the matters of the Sixth Tao sect?" said the purple figure coldly. "Ancient clan Yi family." The great sage of the Sixth Tao sect's pupils shrank. The eyelids of the Mountain Sea Palace's elders also twitched. People from the ancient clan. They were stunned. The Yi family? A great emperor clan? Lin Xian was too shocked. He didn't expect to meet someone from the Yi family here. Thinking about it, he hadn't seen Yi Wudao in a long time. The great sage of the Sixth Tao sect clenched his teeth. Is the Yi family going to interfere in this matter? I don't care what you're here for. Wudao is undergoing his tribulation. Anyone who dares to disturb him is my enemy. The great sage of the Sixth Tao sect smiled. So it's a genius from the Yi family going through his tribulation. Don't worry, I definitely won't disturb him. The one I want to suppress is this kid. Capture him and I'll leave immediately. After he finished speaking, he stared at Lin Xian. Elder Ruochen and the others felt their scalps go numb as they looked at the purple figure. We're from the Mountain Sea Palace. They hoped that this expert from the Yi family could stop the people from the Sixth Tao sect. However, the figure stood there, unmoved. As far as the great sage was concerned, anyone beneath the great sage was nothing more than an ant. Thus, no matter how respectable the Mountain Sea Palace was, it wasn't worthy of his attention. Elder Luochen and the others were in despair. The gap between them and the other party was too great. Not only was the other party a great sage, but more importantly, the other party was a clan of the ancients, and a great emperor clan at that. It was useless, no one could save him today. The Sixth Tao sect's great sage laughed coldly and reached for Lin Xian. Lin Xian suddenly spoke up. "Wudao, are you the one undergoing the tribulation?" "I'm Lin Xian." His voice was loud and clear, like a sudden clap of thunder that spread into the distance. The purple figure roared angrily. "You dare to disturb Wudao's tribulation?" He stared at Lin Xian with a cold killing intent in his eyes. However, at this moment, a voice came from the thunder ahead. "Elder, he is my friend." "Friend?" The purple figure was stunned. The Sixth Tao sect's great sage was stunned. The Mountain Sea Palace's people were also stunned. Elder Luochen couldn't believe that Lin Xian knew someone from a great emperor clan. This was too unbelievable. The Sixth Tao sect's great sage's expression changed. Not good. He instantly attacked. It seemed like he wanted to suppress Lin Xian and take him away before anyone could react. A purple finger severed heaven and earth and blocked the other party's palm. "You can't take him away." The purple figure attacked. What was the meaning of this? Didn't you say you didn't care? The Sixth Tao sect's great sage clenched his teeth. It didn't matter before because it had nothing to do with him, but now that Wudao had spoken, he was a guest of the Yi clan. "If you want to fight, I'll accompany you." "Damn it. Fine Yi clan, I'll give you face today." Then he stared at Lin Xian. "Kid, don't think that the clan of the ancients can protect you forever." With that, he tore open the void and disappeared. The Mountain Sea Palace's elders and the others let out sighs of relief. He was finally gone. Lin Xian coldly snorted. This was too dangerous. If he hadn't met Yi Wudao and the Yi clan, he would have had to use all his strength to escape. "You're Lin Xian? Lin Xian from planet Xiwan?" The purple figure looked at Lin Xian. His gaze was biting cold, but there was no killing intent. Lin Xian nodded. "Greetings, senior. I didn't mean to come here. I didn't expect to meet Wudao here." The central emperor of the past really lived up to his reputation. An early sage king was actually able to block the great sage's attack. "You're not bad." The purple figure nodded and said, "Follow me." Lin Xian followed by Elder Luochen and the others. They arrived at a mountain peak. When they landed, they sensed the terrifying thunder tribulation ahead. Elder Luochen and the others were shocked. What kind of lightning tribulation was this? The genius undergoing the tribulation must be extremely powerful. Lin Xian was also surprised. He didn't know how strong Wu Dao was now. Next, he waited patiently. A month later, the lightning tribulation disappeared. The purple light condensed in front of them, and the rarely seen war god's phantom disappeared. Then a young man walked out. The young man was wearing a purple robe and had a handsome face. He was like a young emperor. How was it? Did you break through? The Yi clan's elders walked up. The purple great sage was also looking forward to it. I didn't disappoint the elders. I've mastered the celestial emperor scripture, Di Chong. That's great. The Yi clan's elders cheered. The purple great sage also smiled. Our Yi clan has the hope of producing a second great emperor. He was really happy. Their Yi clan was a great emperor clan, a clan of the ancients. They had the inheritance of a great emperor, but it wasn't something that just anyone could cultivate. The Yi clan had produced countless geniuses over the years, but those who could cultivate the celestial emperor scripture were few and far between. Once they could cultivate it, their future was limitless. Especially Yi Wudao, who had a saint body. This gave them even more hope. Yi Wudao chatted with the elders for a while, then turned to look in the other direction. Brother Lin, long time no see. As he spoke, he threw a punch. The purple fist seemed to transform into a giant dragon. Elder Ruochen and the others felt their hair stand on end. This person was only an early-stage great sage king, but his strength was terrifying. And from his words, they could tell that this person was a saint body of the Yi clan. This was a legendary super physique in the universe. Now that he was attacking Lin Xian, who could stop him? Lin Xian laughed. Wu Dao, long time no see. As he spoke, he also threw a punch. Endless golden flames burned on his palm, as if it had turned into a sun. The two palms collided, and a terrifying aura swept out in all directions. Then, both of them took 3 steps back and laughed. Wu Dao, long time no see. Your cultivation and strength haven't dropped at all. Lin Xian laughed. Yi Wudao also said, Brother Lin, your 9-yang divine body isn't any weaker than my saint body. The people of Hilsi Palace were stunned. Lin Xian was actually able to contend with Yi Wudao. It was hard to imagine. Chapter 46:30. Divine Physique. Lin Xian actually had such a powerful physique. It was one of the strongest physiques in the universe. No wonder Lin Xian was so strong. Even the Yi family was shocked. This was the successor of the 9 sons. He was indeed strong enough to not be at a disadvantage against a divine physique. That's right. What was going on before? Why did the great sage of the 6 Dao sect want to kill you? Yi Wudao asked. Lin Xian said that he took something from a ruin, and the people of the 6 Dao sect took a fancy to it. They wanted to take it from me. I naturally wouldn't let them have their way. All right, let's not talk here. Let's go back to the family. An elder walked over with a smile. Lin Xian said, Thank you, senior, but we still have things to do. We have to go to Taiqing Ancient City. We won't disturb you. Taiqing Ancient City? The great sage nodded. Wu Dao, now that you've cultivated the Heavenly Emperor scripture, it's time for you to go out. Taiqing Ancient City will be your first battle. Yi Wudao nodded. It was time for him to make a name for himself. Let's go, Brother Lin. Lin Xian said. Senior, aren't you afraid that the 6 Dao sect will kill you? Don't you need to bring a few elders? The great sage smiled. It's fine. I'm not afraid of anyone in the same realm. As for the great sage, let's see who dares to make a move against me. Elder Luo Cheng and the others felt their scalps tingle. Lin Xian was also amazed. As expected of a great sage family, who would dare to make a move against Yi Wudao? That would be making an enemy out of a great sage family. No one would be so stupid. As expected of a clan of the ancients, their backing was strong. Next, Lin Xian, Yi Wudao, Elder Luochen, and the others left for Taiqing Ancient City. Finally, half a month later, they arrived in front of a huge city. The huge city in front of them was really magnificent. It had an aura of time that made people feel solemn. After the group went down, they walked into Taiqing Ancient City. There were simply too many experts here. They could be seen everywhere. Moreover, according to Elder Ruochen and the others' introduction, The Taiqing ancient city was extremely vast. Not only were there places where humans gathered, there were also many forests, waterfalls, canyons, and other places where demonic beasts lived. Lin Xian was shocked as well. As expected of primeval city, Elder Ruochen said, "We're going to take care of some things first. Young Master Lin, will you come with us?" Lin Xianyi, "No, I want to see what's so magical about Grand Clarity City. If Elder Qing is also here, well said. Let's go our separate ways first. We'll meet again when the time comes." Elder Fallout and the other members of the Mountain Sea Palace left. Only Lin Xian and Leaf Daodinier remained. Leaf Daodinier said, "Where are we going?" Lin Xian said that he didn't know and was just looking around. "Why don't you follow me to a place first?" Leaf Daodinier smiled. "What other purpose do you have for coming here?" Lin Xian was surprised. Leaf Daodinier said, "Not really, but since I'm already here, I might as well go take a look." Lin Xian followed Leaf Daodinier into the city. Soon, he learned that Leaf Daodinier was also going to a clan of the Ancients. The clan of the Ancients was an extremely terrifying existence. Not just any clan could obtain this title. Only extremely terrifying clans could. Apart from great emperor clans, even ordinary primeval royal clans couldn't obtain this title. They had to be extremely terrifying among the primeval race, and had been passed down for generations. Only then could they obtain the title of Clan of the Ancients. This time, Leaf Daodinier was going to a clan of the Ancients, the Wind Clan. Although the Wind Clan had never produced a great emperor, they were still extremely terrifying. The fact that they could be titled as a Clan of the Ancients was proof of their strength. Lin Xian guessed that the Clan of the Ancients was far more powerful than Misty Peak and Profound Heaven sect. Even the Sixth Dao sect would have to retreat to some extent. There were several clans of the Ancients in Taiqing Ancient City. In addition, there were many terrifying sects and factions. As expected of Taiqing Ancient City, the Wind Clan was located in the west of Taiqing Ancient City. It was easy to find information about them because they were too famous. Lin Xian followed Leaf Daodinier all the way. Finally they saw it. A majestic mountain floated in the air like a divine island. There were countless pavilions and palaces on it. "Stop. This is the Wind Clan. Not just anyone can enter. You two hurry up and leave." Seeing the two young men flying towards the Wind Clan, four figures flew out of the divine island and shouted coldly. Leaf Daodinier stopped and said, "I'm here to see the leader of the Wind Clan. Please report my arrival." "You think you can do it?" The four guards laughed. What kind of status did their leader have? How could they meet him just because they wanted to? Yi Daodinier said, "Tell her that I'm from the Yi clan of the Ancients. My name is Yi Daodinier." It was someone from the Yi clan. The guards' expressions changed. One of them said, "So it's young Master Yi. Please forgive us for being rude. We'll report your arrival." They hurried in. Not long after, several figures flew out. They were obviously geniuses of the Wind Clan. After they landed, they looked at Leaf Daodinier. It turned out to be young Master Daodinier. Please. These people's identities were not ordinary, especially the woman leading the group. She was called Wind Phoenix. She was the top genius of the younger generation of the Wind Clan. For her to personally come out to greet them, one could imagine how much importance the Wind Clan attached to them. "Daodinier, when I went to your Yi clan last time, you weren't there, so I didn't see you. Now that I see you, you're even stronger than the legends say. Your sacred body is already making me feel pressure," Wind Phoenix said with a smile. Yi Wudao spoke. Princess Feng Huang was very polite. "Your Wind God bloodline is also extraordinary. Please." The people of the Wind Clan invited Leaf Daodinier and Lin Xian in. They had already received the news, and were preparing a banquet to welcome Leaf Daodinier. It couldn't be helped. Leaf Daodinier wasn't a disciple of an ordinary clan. He had the sacred body of the Ancients. He was the successor of a clan. They naturally treated him well. The leader of the Wind Clan was a woman. She wore a green robe and had an extremely terrifying aura. Lin Xian could sense that she had reached the Great Sage realm. Lin Xian wondered how many Great Sage there were in the Wind Clan. He was very curious. After greeting Senior Wind, Leaf Doudenier looked at the woman in front of him and bowed respectfully. The leader of the Wind clan smiled and said, "Calling me senior is too polite, isn't it? If you don't mind, you can call me Aunt Wind." The people of the Wind clan were shocked. What kind of seniority did their leader have? They didn't expect her to think so highly of Leaf Doudenier. It seemed that they had still underestimated him. The leader of the Wind clan personally walked down and pulled Leaf Doudenier to her side. She wanted to have a good chat with him. Leaf Doudenier glanced at Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and said, "Don't worry about me." Yi Doudenier smiled and followed the leader of the Wind clan to the front of the hall. Lin Xian was invited to the side by the other experts. "How should I address this young master? Are you Doudenier's younger brother?" Many disciples of the Wind clan walked over. One of the women said with a smile. Chapter 46:31. Lin Xian said, "I think you guys are mistaken. I'm not Yi Wudao's brother. I'm just his friend." "Friend? Are you not from the Yi clan?" The Moon Breeze couple were surprised, and the others were also curious. Lin Xian said, "No. Then which clan are you from?" In their opinion, anyone who could become friends with Yi Wudao must be from a clan of the ancients. "I'm not from any clan of the ancients," Lin Xian said again. This time, the surrounding people were stunned. He was not from a clan of the ancients. The Moon Breeze couple was also stunned. Then the smile in their eyes disappeared and was replaced by a trace of coldness. Although they did not understand how this person became friends with Yi Wudao, if he was not from a clan of the ancients, he was not worthy of their attention. As members of a clan of the ancients, they had endless pride, and others were not qualified to be on equal footing with them. As expected, the surrounding people no longer talked to Lin Xian. Even the Moon Breeze couple turned around and left, as if Lin Xian was invisible. Lin Xian did not care about this sudden change in attitude. He had experienced too much in his life, and he really did not care about this little bit of coldness. Only those who were weak would regard their identity as extremely important. A true powerhouse relied on their own strength, and he was a top-notch genius. Therefore, he did not need any identity to enhance his strength. On the other side, the Wind clan leader looked at Yi Wudao and said with a smile, "You came at the right time. Now Taiqing Ancient City is in turmoil. With your identity as the sacred body of the ancients, you will definitely make a name for yourself and be respected by the world." Yi Wudao was surprised. What could cause such a change in Taiqing City? He was really curious. The leader of the Wind clan sighed. The Purple Palace had been reopened. What, the Purple Mansion? Yi Wudao was stunned and could not believe it. This was an extremely ancient power. Moreover, this title was too unusual. It was said that it was related to immortals. Countless years ago, it had been destroyed by someone. He did not expect it to reappear now. Did someone use the name of Purple? Or did the real Purple Mansion reappear? The Purple Mansion from back then has reappeared. I'm sure you've heard of the legend of the Violet Palace. It was rumored that they were related to immortals. Although it might not be true, the Zifu Palace of the past was incomparably mysterious. They collected everything in the world, and there were many experts among them. Many of the lost skills of the clan of the ancients were in their collection. Leaf Doudenier was shaken. Although he was still young, he knew a lot about ancient history. After all, the Yi clan had many ancient texts, which Leaf Doudenier would study whenever he had free time. Among them, he had read about the Purple Mansion. The Purple Palace was at its peak 70,000 years ago. At that time, the Purple Mansion could be said to have overshadowed the clan of the ancients. This was because many experts from the clan of the ancients had joined the Violet Palace realm. For a time, they were incomparably powerful, but in the end, they were still destroyed. What was the reason? It was no longer clear, but there were a few legends. First, it was related to the remote antiquity families. Those clans of the remote antiquity joined forces to attack the Purple Palace. There was another legend about the Heavenly Court. Back then, the Purple Mansion had once attacked the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Court was furious and fought with the Purple Mansion. In the end, the Purple Mansion was severely injured. After that battle, the Heavenly Court didn't fall. In the end, it was attacked and disappeared. Leaf Doudinier took a deep breath. What were they planning to do? Did they want to restore the glory of the past? He didn't know. But this time, they were quite high profile. They didn't have any intention of hiding. They even invited all the geniuses in the world. He didn't know what they were thinking. Nephew, let me remind you that the Purple Mansion's methods are unfathomable. They were able to obtain the lost skills and secret arts of the clan of the ancients because of those geniuses. If you encounter them, you have to be careful. After the banquet ended, Leaf Doudinier went back to live with Lin Xian in the palace. He wasn't in a hurry to leave. When he returned, he told Lin Xian about the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian was also shocked. It was a bit interesting. We came out to gain experience and increase our strength. We can't miss such an opportunity. I think so too. Leaf Doudinier smiled. He was also prepared to see what kind of existence this sect that had suppressed the clan of the ancients 70,000 years ago was. However, the Purple Mansion hadn't really opened yet, so the two of them were waiting. Lin Xian thought of something. That was to find heaven-defying spirit herbs. After all, Xia Juyo's lifespan was running out. He walked out of the palace and was about to ask when he saw the Moonbreeze couple. Although the Moonbreeze couple was no longer interested in Lin Xian, he had still come with Yi Wudao, so the Moonbreeze couple couldn't afford to be rude. She asked, "Young master, why did you come out at this time?" "I want to ask about the news of the top genius spirit herbs. The kind that can extend one's lifespan." The Moonbreeze couple was shocked. "You need such a thing?" Lin Xian said. "An elder needs it, so I can help you ask about it." The Moonbreeze couple said. "Those that can extend one's lifespan are the most precious. After all, everyone wants to live longer. Such things are very rare. Even if they do, they won't give it to others. However, I know a few places that might have it. One of them is the Spirit region. However, that place is very far from here. You won't be able to reach it in a short period of time. Speaking of which, there's one that's closer. It's an ancient ruin. Although it's already in ruins, it was an extremely terrifying existence back then. It's not any weaker than our clan of the ancients. Perhaps you might be able to find some lost treasures there." "Oh, is that so?" Lin Xian was stunned. Then he asked, "Fairy, can you give me some directions?" The Moonbreeze couple took out a jade scroll and said, "The map is inside. Do you really want to go? That place is very dangerous. If you die, don't blame me for not warning you." Lin Xian took it and scanned it with his soul spirit. He realized that there was indeed a map with markings on it. He nodded and walked out. The Moonbreeze couple looked at Lin Xian's back view and narrowed her eyes. "What a reckless guy. Forget it, I've already warned you. I'm not letting Leaf Doudinier down. If this guy dies, it has nothing to do with me." She laughed coldly and turned to leave. After Lin Xian got the map, he began to look at it. Then he flew in the direction that it was. According to the records, it was indeed an ancient existence. Although the distance on the map wasn't far, Taiqing Ancient City was very vast. Lin Xian flew for a long time before he arrived. When he got closer, he felt an unusual aura. Lin Xian realized that there were very few people around. Obviously, not many people were willing to come here. However, there were still some. These people's auras were very powerful. It seemed that most of them were Sage Kings in the later stages. There were even Sage Kings in the peak stages. There was only one Sage King in the early stages like him. Chapter 46-32. Lin Xian frowned when he arrived. Then he walked forward. A Saint King late-stage elder nearby sneered when he saw this. He really didn't know what was good for him. In his opinion, Lin Xian's soul would probably be destroyed in an instant. Lin Xian didn't know why he said that. He walked forward. There were ruins in front of him. There wasn't a single place that was intact. Even the ground was red. It was blood. Countless years ago, there was a huge battle here. It was an earth-shattering battle. Lin Xian had just arrived at the ruins when suddenly, a broken sword flew out from the ruins and slashed towards him. Although the sword was broken and the remaining parts were filled with cracks, its power was too strong. This sword was able to destroy everything. Lin Xian was shocked. He waved his hand and slapped out. The man-ruler seal slapped the broken sword away. He actually blocked it. Behind him, the elder who was waiting to see a joke was stunned. This guy's strength was far beyond his imagination. Because ordinary Saint Kings in the initial stage couldn't block it at all. Interesting. Kid, who are you? The elder came to Lin Xian's side and asked coldly. Lin Xian saw the elder's cold gaze and knew what he was thinking. He said coldly, Ancient Yi family. Is there a problem? The elder's expression changed. So it was the young master of the Yi family. Sorry for disturbing you. Goodbye. Originally, he thought that since Yi Shiwen wasn't famous, he would capture him and see what kind of treasure that secret technique was. It would be best if he could snatch it and cultivate it. But now that Yi Shiwen said that he was from the Yi family, he didn't dare to make a move. He didn't have the guts to make a move on the Yi family. Wait. Seeing that the elder was about to leave, Lin Xian shouted coldly. The elder was stunned. Then he revealed an ugly expression. Young master, what orders do you have? Lin Xian said. What is this place? Why is it so strange? The elder said. This was a ruin. It was said that this was where the ancient heavenly court used to be, but it had completely declined. Even so, this place was still extremely terrifying. A broken sword and a broken saber could split a Saint King in half. Generally, those who were weak would not dare to come here. However, there were still some people who were prepared to hunt for treasures. After all, the heavenly court was a terrifying existence back then. After saying that, he quickly left. Lin Xian was astonished. The heavenly court? Lin Xian took a deep breath and continued forward. Not long after, another broken saber flew toward him. The black broken blade turned into a black qilin, descending from the sky and slashing at him. Lin Xian used the mountain embracing seal and unleashed the primordial demon mountain to contend against it. He blocked the dagger, but his expression was unsightly. He had only taken a few steps, and it was already so terrifying. There must be more dangers ahead. It seemed that he would not be able to go there for the time being. That woman, Feng and you, could not have purposely made him come here, right? What could this place have? Lin Xian snorted and returned to the Wind tribe. After returning, he found Yi Wudao and asked, How much do you know about the heavenly court? Yi Wudao was surprised. Are you talking about the ancient heavenly court? Could it be that you went to those ruins? He was really shocked. You know that place? Yi Wudao nodded. He knew, and it was even very famous because the ancient heavenly court was really too terrifying back then. Although it was not a clan of the ancients, it was not weaker than any of them. Legend had it that the ancient heavenly court had produced a great emperor back then. How did such a terrifying great emperor fall? Lin Xian asked. Yi Wudao said, That? There are many legends. I think one of them is more reliable, and that is related to the Purple Mansion. Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. He had heard about the Purple Mansion before. Wasn't it about to reopen soon? Back then, the Purple Mansion and the Heavenly Court had a battle. After that battle, the Purple Mansion had completely declined. Some people even said that it was destroyed. The Heavenly Court had also suffered heavy losses and declined from then on. After another 20,000 years, which was 50,000 years ago, it was completely destroyed. As for who did it, no one knew. However, some people said that it was definitely related to the Purple Mansion. As expected of the buried Emperor Star, even a power that had produced a great emperor could be destroyed. It was really shocking. At the same time, he was also curious. Could the ancient heavenly court be reopened after the Purple Mansion was destroyed? He did not know. Yi Wudao shook his head and sighed. That was something from 50,000 years ago. He asked, Why are you going to that place? He said, You need to find some spirit medicines that can extend your lifespan. I can help you ask around, but that place is too mysterious. All right, Lin Xian nodded his head and began to cultivate. He continued to comprehend the Heaven's secret map and waited for news about the Purple Mansion. At the same time, more and more experts arrived in Grand Clarity Ancient City. After all, a top sect from 70,000 years ago had reopened. No one knew what they wanted to do. Most people were curious and wanted to see the legendary Purple Mansion. These people all arrived. Some of them were extremely powerful, causing countless people to cry out in alarm. There was a man who seemed like an immortal and had a mysterious aura around him. There had been people who attacked him before, but any divine ability that got close to him would disintegrate and vanish into thin air. There was another man who was surrounded by a sky full of gods and demons. He was even more terrifying. There was another person who merged with heaven and earth and seemed to disappear without a trace. The appearance of these terrifying figures caused an uproar. Many people guessed their identities. At the same time, a black-robed man walked in. When he arrived in Grand Clarity Ancient City, he took a deep breath. He had finally returned. He wondered how that place was doing. The wind race was also inquiring about it. After all, they were very concerned about the experts and geniuses of the world. After hearing this news, they took a deep breath. Finally, on this day, the Wind Phoenix once again brought people over. Wu Dao, it's about time. Yi Wu Dao opened the palace's door and walked out with Lin Xian. The two of them nodded. Princess, please lead the way. The Wind Phoenix controlled a small divine island and flew over. The Violet Palace was located quite a distance away from them. Using this opportunity, they rested on the divine island. A few days later, the divine island stopped. Multicolored light flickered in front of them. The invisible Grand Dao was as mysterious as the stars. Had they arrived? Lin Xian opened his eyes and looked in front of him. He was surprised. What a terrifying aura. At the same time, he found that there were countless figures in addition to them. Some powerful families had also come. Thousands of gazes fell on the front. There were even more geniuses in the surroundings. A figure was like a cloud, like an immortal descending. After he arrived, he looked around and the corners of his mouth raised into a smile. The surrounding people felt this aura and were shocked. Chapter 46-33. On the other side, flames filled the sky as if they were sweeping through the 9 heavens. A figure descended with golden wings. Countless people exclaimed. It was a genius of the Golden Crow clan. The other person had a holy light around him, as if he was a god. His appearance shocked everyone. He was from the clan of the ancients, the Sacred Sky clan. On the other side, another person walked over. He was wearing a robe with an alchemy furnace on his back. Countless people were shocked. It was someone from the Danding school. Heavens, how many geniuses had come this time? Exclamations were heard one after another. Suddenly, they looked up at the sky and saw a divine island descending from the sky. It was the divine island of the Wind Clan. The Wind Clan had come. Everyone looked over. Someone said that the leader was the Wind Phoenix. She was the top genius of the Wind Clan. The people around her should be the geniuses of the Wind Clan. Who was that person standing beside the Wind Phoenix? He did not have the bloodline of the Wind Clan. Most of the Wind Clan had the bloodline of the Wind Clan. The storm around them was very terrifying. However, there was a man in purple next to her. He was handsome and had a different aura. Although there was no storm around him, he had a heavy power that seemed to be able to crush the heavens. Next to him was a young man in a red robe. He looked calm and had a pair of deep eyes. This person was even more mysterious because they did not feel any aura from him. The top geniuses also came over and stared at the purple-robed figure and the red-robed man. Soon they stared at the purple-robed figure. One of them said, "I feel a terrifying aura. Could it be that you are from the Yi clan?" The people around were shocked. The Yi clan? The clan of the ancients, and a great emperor clan. Even among the clan of the ancients, they were extremely terrifying. Did their descendant also come out? At that moment, another voice was heard. Yes, not only was he from the Yi clan, but he also had the sacred body of the ancients. Everyone went crazy. The sacred body of the ancients. The legendary sacred body of the ancients. Did he come here specifically for the matter of the Violet Palace? Some people were even more shocked. Who was speaking? They only heard the voice and did not see the person at all. The genius of the Golden Crow clan snorted. Who was it? The people from the Holy Heavens race also said, "What a fast speed. Could it be that you are from the Light race?" In the sky, the people of the Wind clan were shocked. Had the people of the Light clan also come? Just like them, Yi Futian was also a clan of the ancients. They controlled the power of storms, while Yi Futian controlled the power of light. Moreover, with the speed of light, it was extremely fast. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as well. A golden light flickered in his eyes as he caught a glimpse of a blurry figure. It was indeed very fast. His eyes could keep up, but his speed might not be able to keep up. The clan of the ancients and the light clan were getting more and more interesting. Coming to Taiqing Ancient City was indeed the right choice. If Lin Xian wanted to continue on the path of a great emperor, he would have to clash with countless peerless geniuses. The geniuses of the Taiqing Ancient City were enough to temper him. The others were also trying to capture him, their souls probing out. However, only a few of them were able to see him. At this moment, the space between heaven and earth shattered. A ray of light streaked across, forming a man in a golden robe. "It's you, Light." What? He was the Light. This was the descendant of the Light clan. He also had the body of light, the body of the ancients. The so-called body of the ancients came from the strongest bloodline of the clan of the ancients. The body formed by the condensation of the body of the ancients was enough to shake the starry sky and sweep through the 9 heavens. For example, the sacred body was one of the bodies of the ancients. The body of light was also the body of the ancients. Such a body was extremely terrifying. It was enough to sweep through the clan of the ancients. No one was a match for him. Only other bodies of the ancients could compete with him. The heavens were really incredible. Now that there were already 2 people with the body of the ancients, would there be any other top geniuses? Countless people were shocked. Lin Xian was also surprised. The body of light? He did feel a terrifying bloodline power from Yi Futian. Yi Futian thought that Yi Futian's forte should be speed. Yi Futian wondered if Yi Futian's speed was Yi Futian's fastest. If it wasn't, then Yi Futian was too terrifying. Yi Wudao and light became the center of attention. The others seemed to have lost their brilliance. Even the phoenix seemed to have dimmed. It couldn't be helped. The body of the ancients could sweep through everything. Of course, it didn't mean that others didn't have a chance. For example, the experts of the Golden Crow race. It was as if a sun had descended. The genius of the sacred heavens race was even more terrifying. There was a terrifying illusion of heaven and earth revolving around him. In addition, there were also people from the Myriad Transformation sect and the Pill Cauldron sect. These people had many trump cards and their strength was unfathomable. Meanwhile, a crack was torn open in the mysterious Immortal Mountain, and a few figures flew out from it. It was the people of the Purple Mansion. Countless people quietened down. They looked forward. The leader of the group was a woman in purple. She had an extremely beautiful face. She looked around and smiled. "Thank you for coming here to witness the revival of the Purple Mansion. However, the Purple Mansion has been busy recently, and we can't welcome everyone. Only a few of you can go in to take a look. When the Purple Mansion is fully revived, we will invite the heroes of the world." Everyone was in an uproar. What was the meaning of this? The reason why they came today was because they wanted to experience the legendary Purple Palace realm. Now that they were told that they might not be able to go in, wasn't that ignoring them? Suddenly, some people's faces fell. "Are you looking down on us?" None of those who came here were weak. The purple-clothed woman in front of him stopped smiling as she spoke in an indifferent tone. "If you want to enter the Purple Mansion, then you have to speak with your own strength. I have 8 tokens here. They are the Purple Mansion tokens. Only those who have the Purple Mansion tokens can enter. Those who dare to trespass will be killed without mercy." Countless people were in an uproar. The lady in purple waved her hand and 8 purple tokens floated in the air. Each token was the size of a palm. They were crystal clear and emitted a mysterious aura. Just this token alone was an incredible treasure. In the sky, the 8 Purple Mansion tokens floated in the air like 8 purple moons. Everyone wanted to enter the Purple Mansion. However, the opportunity was right in front of them, and no one dared to act rashly. Because everyone knew that if they dared to snatch the Purple Mansion tokens at this moment, they would be going against the world. Unless they had an unparalleled ability, they would end up in a miserable state. "I will take the first Purple Mansion token." Does anyone have any objections? Guangming walked out and took the purple mansion token with a wave of his hand. His voice spread out and everyone else fell silent. Guangming had the ancient desolate body. He was extremely powerful and his speed was unparalleled. Chapter 46-34. The expert from the Golden Crow clan shouted coldly. Who dares to compete with me? I'll send him to hell. A terrifying aura swept across the land. No one dared to go against such a ferocious expert. After Golden Crow Hao, a few more people took action. Sheng Tianse from the Holy Heavens clan and Yun Fei from the Myriad Transformation sect. Jiang Chun from the Pill Cauldron sect. Wuxia from the Serene Cloud sect. These people were all top-notch experts, enough to contend against the world, so their appearance shocked everyone. 6 experts had appeared, and there were only 2 tokens left. Everyone was nervous, but no one dared to act rashly. To get the token, one had to be at least as strong as these 6 people. Who had such confidence? In the sky, on the Divine Island, Feng Huang looked at the scene and smiled. Looks like it's our turn. Brother Wu Dao, please. She looked at Yi Wu Dao and took a step forward. Yi Wu Dao nodded and walked out as well. At the same time, Lin Xian, who was standing beside him, stepped forward as well. 3 figures strolled in the sky and came to the front. Countless people were in an uproar. They looked up at the sky. It was indeed the Wind Clan. But what was surprising was that 3 people came out. There were still 2 tokens left. How were they going to split them? The others from the Wind Clan were stunned. They looked at Lin Xian and frowned. This kid dared to go out and snatch the tokens? What a joke. Did he think that he could be arrogant because he came with Yi Wu Dao? He was courting death. Feng Huang also frowned. She was only talking to Yi Wu Dao. As for Lin Xian, she completely ignored him. She only gave him face because he was brought by Yi Wu Dao. But now he stood out. Did he think that he was qualified to be on equal footing with her? Yi Wu Dao looked calm. He knew Lin Xian's strength. He was definitely not weaker than him. In an instant, countless people looked over. Even the 6 powerhouses in the sky were looking over as well. Many people smiled. They didn't know how to deal with this situation. Feng Huang was a proud daughter of heaven. Her every move could cause people to go crazy. She looked at Lin Xian and smiled. I didn't expect you to be interested in the Violet Palace realm. However, young master had just arrived at the ancient city, and there were still many places that he hadn't visited yet. Why not go to other places first? How about we come back in 2 days to take a look at this Sifu? These words sounded like they were giving Lin Xian face, but in reality, they were saying that Lin Xian was not qualified. When the others heard this, they would definitely retreat obediently. Unfortunately, Lin Xian didn't know how to do it. When Lin Xian heard Feng Huang's words, he laughed. Didn't he still have the token? If he could enter today, why would he have to wait for another time? The surrounding people went crazy. Was this brat stupid? Feng Huang was clearly telling the other party to back off. Could this fellow not tell? Did he really think that he could contend against those people? Feng Huang's expression also sank, but she did not say anything else. This was the first time she had seen such a reckless person. The 6 people at the front were also astonished as they looked at Lin Xian. They also couldn't sense Lin Xian's aura. What qualifications did this person have to be so arrogant? However, since he could stand beside Feng Huang, he seemed to have some tricks up his sleeve. Jinwu Hao sneered. Who are you? Let me see if you have the qualifications to stand in front of me. Hearing this, Yi Wu Dao said loudly. Yi Clan Yi Wu Dao. He was Yi Wu Dao. Countless people were shocked. Everyone looked at Lin Xian again. Who was this person that could stand beside Yi Wu Dao and Feng Huang? Lin Xian was not from a peerless sect or a clan of the ancients. A faint voice sounded. Everyone went crazy. This person did not have any shocking background. What qualifications did he have to stand there? Jinwu Hao snorted coldly. So it's just an ant. Who gave you the guts to come here? Get lost. Everyone looked at Lin Xian with a trace of sympathy. Feng Huang snorted coldly. She had already given him a way out, but he didn't know what was good for him. Since this was the case, she wouldn't care anymore. Lin Xian looked at Jinwu Hao and said, What? Is this a world where one's family background and identity matter? Of course not. However, identity and bloodline were very important. You're just a rogue cultivator. Can you beat us? Jin Wuhao sneered. For the sake of Yi Wudao and Feng Huang, I'll give you a chance to live. Get lost quickly. Lin Xian said. I originally wanted to attack someone and eliminate him. Since you don't know what's good for you, then it's you. Hand over your purple mansion token, and I'll give you a chance to live. Aunt, you're courting death. Jin Wuhao was furious. Was Lin Xian challenging him? He threw out a punch. This punch was like the birth of the sun. It shook the heavens and the earth. Resplendent light swept across the sky and rushed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly and threw out a palm. It also turned into a sun. It flew between the heavens and the earth. An earth-shattering power appeared. The surrounding people's faces changed, and they quickly retreated. A terrifying flame swept across the land. In the next moment, Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and withdrew his palm. On the other hand, Jin Wuhao retreated. The void around him kept shattering. Cracks also appeared on his armor. With one blow, the winner was decided. The surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? The one who was defeated was actually Jin Wuhao. It was too unbelievable. That rogue cultivator was so powerful. Countless people were stunned. They weren't optimistic about Lin Xian before, but the result was completely beyond their expectations. Feng Huang's pupils shrank. It was as if she was seeing Lin Xian for the first time. Who the hell was this person? Only Leaf Daodinier was smiling. Bullying Lin Xian? What a joke. This Jinwu was simply courting death. Lin Xian looked at him and said indifferently, do you still think that identity and bloodline can explain everything? As a member of the Jinwu clan, your bloodline is extraordinary. But so what? In front of me, you can't even withstand a single blow. Damn it. I was careless just now. Now go to hell. Jin Wuhao was completely enraged. He couldn't accept that the other party could actually force him to retreat. He had to take back his face. The wings on his back flew out and condensed into two golden sabers that he held in his hands. The sabers slashed the heavens and split the earth. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a flick of his finger, a terrifying sword chi flew out and turned into a dragon that swept across the 9 heavens. The two collided and a great battle broke out. The sabers and swords clashed. Jin Wuhao roared. He had used all his strength to take down the other party, but now he realized that he was too naive. Impossible. The sabers in his hands actually cracked. He couldn't believe it. Chapter 46-35. Damn it. With a roar, his long blade turned into a pair of wings. He charged over, wanting to smash Lin Xian's head. Lin Xian sneered. You want to compete with me in terms of physique? He snorted and unleashed his divine body. The human ruler seal struck out with his palm. With a boom, Jin Wuhao was pushed back. Lin Xian attacked again using the mountain embracing seal. An ancient mountain pressed down. Jin Wuhao's wings turned into heavenly blades and tried to block it, but it still couldn't stop it. Jin Wuhao's body fell down. Lin Xian slashed his sword at Jin Wuhao's palm, splitting it apart. Not only that, the purple mansion token in Jin Wuhao's hand was also split in half. Jin Wuhao was actually injured by this sword strike. Countless people were in an uproar, unable to believe it. I'm going to fight you. Jin Wuhao was really mad, his blood was about to burn. However, at this moment, a ray of light flew out from the purple mansion branch and stopped in the sky, turning into a token. The leader of the group, the purple-clothed woman, saw this scene and said, "Two gentlemen, stop fighting. Today, the purple mansion will make an exception and give out another token." Everyone was shocked. It seemed that the purple mansion had recognized the strength of these two geniuses. Lin Xian waved his hand and grabbed the token. He then turned to look at Jin Wuhao and sneered. You were so confident before, but now you're giving me a free sword. Do you still have the face to go in? Damn it. Jin Wuhao roared. Kid, just you wait. One day, I'll tear you to pieces. He gritted his teeth, but he didn't leave because he also wanted to know how mysterious the purple mansion was. Lin Xian snorted and shook his head. Jin Wuhao was no match for him. The surrounding geniuses were shocked. They knew how strong Jin Wuhao was, but he was injured. This Lin Xian was much stronger than they had imagined. Especially Feng Huang. Her beautiful eyes were filled with shock. This was the person she had ignored before. He was a threat to her. All right, everyone, please come in. The purple jade lady led the group forward. She formed a seal with her palms, and the formation in front of them opened. The few of them disappeared. The people outside were waiting curiously, but no one dared to step forward. After entering, everyone could feel a mystical aura. Was this the Purple Palace? It was too extraordinary. This kind of great Tao was more mysterious than any other place. The purple-clothed woman smiled. Our purple mansion has 9 immortal mountains. As for whether or not you can obtain the immortal fate, that will depend on your luck. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Then they looked around. As expected, there were a few mountain peaks in the surroundings. They were incomparably ethereal. Was this an immortal mountain? Purple Mansion immortal fate. Could it be that the legends were true? Sheng Tian Su of the Shengtian clan was also shocked. As a clan of the ancients, they knew more than others. Legend has it that the Violet Palace was related to immortals. There were even rumors that the Violet Palace was related to immortals. Thinking of this, many people became excited. It seemed that they really came to the right place this time. Everyone, I'll take my leave first. Yin Fei chuckled and flew towards one of the mountain peaks like an immortal. The others also flew into the sky. Lin Xian looked at Yi Wudao and nodded slightly. Then he also flew towards one of the mountain peaks. When the others approached the mountain peak, they could feel a mysterious aura that shrouded them. It seemed that they could comprehend the great Tao here, and become immortals. Lin Xian naturally felt the aura, but at the same time, he also felt a chill down his spine. It was a shock that came from the depths of his soul. There was something extremely terrifying that could threaten him. On top of the immortal mountain, there was a beautiful figure with her back facing him. She looked like a fairy from the 9 heavens. Ha! Lin Xian was stunned. There was someone on top of the mountain. Who was it? Was it someone else who came early? Impossible. Only a few of them had entered, which meant that it was someone from the Purple Mansion. In front, the beautiful figure with her back facing Lin Xian seemed to have sensed someone coming from behind. She also turned her head. A peerless smile. In the next moment, she was stunned. It's you. Lin Xian was also stunned. Xian, why are you here? The beautiful figure in front of him was none other than Qin Xian. However, what surprised Lin Xian was that she was here. Previously, when Lin Xian returned to the 6 great grotto heavens to take away his friends, he also looked for Qin Xian. However, Qin Xian wasn't there at that time, so he could only leave. He didn't expect to meet her here. Qin Xian waved her hand, and a ray of light brought Lin Xian over. She then smiled. Seems like your strength has increased faster than I thought. You actually came to Taiqing Ancient City so early. Lin Xian said. I didn't expect you to be here. When I returned to the grotto heavens to take away my friends, I didn't see you. Qin Xian asked. Did you save them? Lin Xian nodded. Qin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. That's good. Seeing that Lin Xian was still a little confused, Qin Xian said. I wasn't valued in Qingqiu Grotto Heaven, so I left. By chance, I met a god and brought him here. Brought me here, I arrived a month ago. A month ago, the Purple Mansion hadn't announced it to the world. That meant that the person who brought her here was from the Purple Mansion. He asked, are the people on the other mountains also from the Purple Mansion? Qin Xian nodded. Like me, they're all young geniuses with different identities and goals. But now, they've all become successors of the Purple Mansion. Each of us is in charge of a mountain. Do you know anything about the Purple Mansion? I heard that it's a supreme existence that was destroyed 70,000 years ago. Qin Xian nodded. She knew a little about it. She also knew that this place was all-encompassing and had countless secret techniques and abilities of the desolate ancient families. Lin Xian were all from other worlds. When we came here, my master had already died protecting me. I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to be suppressed by others again, so I chose the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian nodded. Everyone had their own choices, so he didn't stop her. The legend of the Purple Mansion was incomparably mysterious. You have to be careful. Come, Sir Lin, there's immortal tea here. Qin Xianer smiled and pulled Lin Xian to sit down. Lin Xian didn't stand on ceremony and started tasting the tea here. At the same time, on the other mountains, there was also a faint sound. There was even the sound of a zither. There was no need to think, on the other mountains, there were definitely peerless fairies or peerless emperors. After all, he had heard from Yi Wudao that there was a high possibility that these people had obtained countless inheritances and secret techniques from the Purple Mansion. One couldn't help but say that this method was really shocking. If he didn't know Lin Xianer, he wouldn't have dared to sit here so casually. The 9 mountains were surrounded by even more clouds at night. Lin Xian felt a chill down his spine. He even saw a black lotus blooming in the middle of the 9 mountains. What was that? Permetha flower. Chapter 46-36. Lin Xian's pupils shrank as he said to Xian I'm in danger. Help me cover. Qin Xian, and Lin Xian were friends who had gone through life and death together. Hearing this, she waved her hand, causing the surrounding mist to thicken. Lin Xian walked into the sword world in his body to hide. This mysterious world was enough to fight against anything. Qin Xianer was stunned. She didn't know what was going on. She could only wait silently until dawn. When the sun shone down, the black-red spider lily slowly disappeared. Lin Xian walked out of the sword world with a cold expression. Why is there a hurricane lily here? You know about it? Qin Xianer was also shocked. She said that it was the totem of the Purple Mansion. The totem of the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. This was the black lotus that sealed him and wanted his life. Damn it! Could it be that the Purple Mansion was the one that sealed him? Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. No matter what, he had to investigate the Purple Mansion. But now he couldn't act rashly. The Purple Mansion was even more terrifying than the clan of the ancients. Although it had been destroyed 70,000 years ago, it was definitely well prepared for its reopening. He wanted power, unlimited power. Lin Xian clenched his fists. Qin Xian asked with concern. Are you okay? Lin Xian shook his head and said, You have to be careful. He couldn't reveal the secret, so he could only remind Qin Xian. Qin Xian nodded. I'll be careful. It's time for you to leave. Lin Xian rose into the air and flew out. At the same time, people from the other celestial mountains also flew out. The purple-robed lady from before appeared and brought everyone out of the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian's face was cold. The others also had different expressions. Some were happy, some were sad. Phoenix was disappointed. It seemed like she didn't want to leave. Yi Wudao frowned. Could it be? Even Lin Xian was surprised. Phoenix was very arrogant. He didn't know what kind of person could make her show such an expression. Even Yunfei, who had always been cool, seemed to have lost his cool. It seemed that the Purple Mansion's methods were really terrifying. Outside the Purple Mansion, countless people were still waiting. They were discussing and speculating. Suddenly, the array in front of them split open, and those who had entered came out again. They came out. Many people exclaimed. Even the other members of the clan of the ancients stepped forward. How was it? Someone asked. However, the people who went inside and shook their heads. They didn't say anything. Everyone became even more anxious. What exactly was inside? Fangs Feng and Feng Ants Fangs and Feng and asked Sister Phoenix. Phoenix and sighed. Phoenix didn't say nothing. Moonbreeze looked at Yi Wudao and Lin Xian. Lin Xian shrugged and Yi Wudao remained silent. This made everyone even more. Let's go. Wind Phoenix prepared to leave. At that moment, a figure flew over and stared at Yi Wudao. They had heard about the sacred body of the ancients for a long time. Today they saw it and wanted to see it for themselves. As soon as the voice was heard, countless people were in an uproar. They stopped asking for news about the Purple Mansion and looked up. Who was challenging Yi Wudao? They saw the figure in the sky shining with light. They were all stunned. Light. two people with the sacred body of the ancients. Is the sacred body going to fight the light body? Lin Xian was surprised and frowned. Light speed was terrifying. He was a very powerful enemy. Leaf Doudinier turned around and said, "As you wish." The two rose into the air and came to the 9 heavens. There was a roar. Yi Wudao threw a punch. The fist of light swept across the 9 heavens. It was a punch that could destroy everything. However, he only hit an afterimage. Light's speed was too fast. In an instant he was behind Yi Wudao. He threw a punch. Yi Wudao's body let out a deafening sound. He turned around and threw a punch, hitting another afterimage. It's useless. You can't compare to my speed. Light was like a bolt of lightning. He displayed his extreme speed. Everyone went crazy. They couldn't see him. They couldn't see him. Phoenix was shocked. Xing Tianzi frowned. Jin Wuhao and the others looked even more serious. One could imagine how much of a threat this extreme speed was to them. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He looked at the 9 heavens. The entire sky was under his control. He saw a person who was very fast. If he had to fight with him, he would never compete with him in speed. Because he couldn't beat him, he would use other methods to kill him. He thought that Yi Wudao should be the same. Yi Wudao snorted. So what if you're fast? You can't break my defense. The sacred body of the ancients was an extremely famous physique in the starry sky. It was unparalleled in strength and defense. There was no way to hurt Yi Wudao without some heaven-defying means. Sure enough, everyone saw Yi Wudao standing there and punching everywhere. Every time he punched, there was a sound coming from his body. There were flames dancing. It was Light's attack that hit Yi Wudao's body. Yi Wudao's body didn't even shake. One could imagine how terrifying it was. One had extreme speed, and the other had an unparalleled physique. Both of them had reached the pinnacle of their respective cultivation levels. Neither could do anything to the other. It seemed that he had to use some means. If one attack couldn't break through, then he would use 10 million attacks. Light took a step forward. An even more terrifying aura appeared on his body. He attacked 10 million times in an instant. It was too fast. It was done in the blink of an eye. Yi Wudao also felt that he was going to die. He opened and closed his palms. With a roar, the purple aura on his body bloomed and turned into a god of war. He threw a punch. With a boom, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Hundreds of millions of attacks were scattered. The purple figure roared at the sky. It was the divine king of the 9 heavens. Countless people were shocked. It was a natural phenomenon that came with the bloodline of the sacred body. Light's face was cold. He didn't attack again. He looked at the divine king of the 9 heavens with flickering eyes. Then he smiled. The sacred body of the ancients lived up to its name. I'll have a taste of it in the future. He turned into a flash and disappeared instantly. The others were also amazed. Indeed, at the moment, both sides were evenly matched. There was no need to continue fighting. Yi Wudao put away the divine king of the 9 heavens and returned to the Saint Island. Although it was only a short fight, the strength of the two sacred bodies of the ancients was enough to shock countless people. How could they compete with their peers? The elders in the late stage of the Saint King realm would probably feel numb. Such people were the true geniuses of the world. Jin Wuhao, Xing Tianzi and the others felt a strong threat. However, they weren't afraid. Although they didn't have the sacred body of the ancients, they had infinite confidence in their own strength. Even I can't help but want to attack. Lin Xian's eyes were also shining. He stared at Jin Wuhao in the distance. Jin Wuhao's face was cold. Damn kid, you still dare to challenge me? Just you wait. I'll make you fall. Jin Wuhao didn't attack again. He didn't want to embarrass himself. Chapter 46-37. The others also left one after another. Phoenix boarded the island and said, "Let's go." Lin Xian didn't go up, but said, "I have other things to do, so I won't go back." With Wind Phoenix's attitude towards him, Lin Xian would not go back. Phoenix frowned. "Young Master Lin, are you still angry because of what happened before?" Lin Xian said. He wasn't angry, It was just that their paths were different and they couldn't work together. After saying that, Lin Xian left. The surrounding people were stunned, but Phoenix's face became incomparably cold. No one had ever dared to refuse her, but this kid dared to not give her face in front of everyone. A cold killing intent appeared in her eyes. This kid didn't know what was good for him. The other members of the Wind Clan also snorted, but they waved their hands and stopped these people. At present, Yi Wudao was still here, so they couldn't criticize his friend. But if they had the chance, they would teach him a good lesson. They wanted to let him know that their Wind Clan couldn't be provoked. Lin Xian left the Purple Mansion and flew into the distance. Taiching Ancient City was very vast, so he prepared to find a place to stay temporarily. Along the way, Lin Xian felt that this place was relatively quiet. There were many courtyards below, so he prepared to go down and ask. However, at this time, a terrifying aura came from behind. Lin Xian's pupils shrank, and he instantly dodged. A terrifying force smashed the place where he was originally standing into smithereens. Lin Xian shouted coldly. A figure appeared, surrounded by a powerful storm. He didn't say anything, but with a wave of his hand, a terrifying wind turned into a giant dragon and attacked Lin Xian. A total of thousands of giant dragons tore the entire sky apart, and the terrifying power made people despair. Lin Xian's face suddenly became gloomy. The power of wind was so terrifying. Could it be the people of the Wind Clan? These people actually wanted to kill him. Thinking of this, his face became incomparably cold. Boom. His palms formed a seal, and the immemorial demon mountain fell from the sky, shattering everything. It suppressed all the wind dragons. At the same time, Lin Xian charged over. Terrifying sword chi blossomed from his body, slashing forward like a sky full of stars. The void in front of him continued to shatter. The figure turned into a wind god and created a storm in the sky. Fight against it. The collision between the two shook the heavens and earth. However, Lin Xian coldly shouted, and the man-ruler seal tore everything apart. At the same time, his swordsmanship became even sharper. The 10 absolute swords flew out, and 10 types of laws danced between heaven and earth. The storm and the great Tao that the figure had unleashed were all shattered. He was about to be cleaved apart by the sword. However, in the next moment, his speed suddenly exploded, reaching the extreme. It disappeared. Lin Xian was astonished. Had it merged with the wind? He directly examined it. In the next moment, he felt the void behind him split open, and a palm landed on his body. With a boom, he was sent flying. However, it did not break through his defense. Lin Xian abruptly turned around and slashed out with his sword. The terrifying sword chi cleaved heaven and earth in half. However, the figure disappeared again. This speed had surpassed that of the Wind Clan. Lin Xian frowned tightly. Could it be someone from the Light Clan? Lin Xian felt that Guangming was the only one with such speed. Was it Guangming? An extremely terrifying radiance burst out from his eyes. Sure enough, the opponent's speed had increased more than 10 times than before. He could not see the opponent's figure at all. He could only let the attacks fall on Lin Xian. Lin Xian's divine body was fully activated. His physique was not weaker than Yi Wudao's saint body, so his defense was even stronger. Not only that, but he was also passively attacked. He formed a seal with his palms, and the Tai Chi was swept out by him. It rotated in the sky, and the black and white sword chi kept slashing down. At the same time, the heavenly secret divine eyes locked onto the opponent. Found you. Lin Xian suddenly exploded with speed and punched out. The man's hands condensed into a terrifying electric light. The two collided and the sky fell and the earth cracked. Then he quickly retreated and disappeared again. Who the hell are you? Lin Xian roared. He found that the opponent's speed was very fast, but it seemed to be a little slower than the real Guangming. If this person was not Guangming, then who was it? This person was too mysterious. First he used a divine ability of the Wind Clan, and now he used a divine ability of the Light Clan. Was there such a terrifying existence in the world? These two were both from the clan of the Ancients. Could it be? He thought of the Z Mansion. A person who knew 2 divine abilities of the clan of the Ancients. In the world, perhaps only someone from the Z Mansion could do it. Was someone from the Z Mansion trying to kill him? Why? Was it because of his identity? One had to know that he was the one who had been sealed by the hurricane lily. He was the one who had been abandoned by the immortals. The Z Mansion had the hurricane lily as a totem. It was very likely that they were the ones who had sealed him. Now they might have discovered him and come to suppress him. But then he thought that was not right. If the Z Mansion had discovered him, they would not have sent a Saint King. At least it would have been the great sage. Thinking of this, he no longer hid. A terrifying aura burst out from his eyes. Then his body moved like a dragon as he charged forward. He formed a seal with his palms, as if a god had descended. The human ruler's seal was full of momentum. The heaven and earth in front of him were instantly destroyed. The hazy figure was also shocked. It seemed that he did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. He quickly used his speed to dodge the attacks. He dodged the human ruler's seal. 9 human ruler's seals in a row shattered the heaven and earth. The figure seemed to be unable to resist. He tore the void and disappeared. Where do you think you're going? Lin Xian shouted coldly. He used the unparalleled sword and slashed down. The sword chi spanned over 1,000,000 miles, and the entire sky was sliced into 2. The surrounding saints and the martial artists below looked up. Who was fighting? What a terrifying sword chi. Was another top-level battle erupting? Let's go. Many people rose into the sky. The heaven and earth were filled with cracks. The figure had already disappeared. Lin Xian's face was cold. He had let the other party escape. At the same time, he felt that many people around him were flying over. Some of them were even investigating. Get out of here. He shouted coldly. His voice was like thunder, and the sword chi swept out in all directions. Some of the sword chi was even transmitted to the sky. The surrounding people wanted to get closer, but they were sent flying by the sword chi. Some people were so scared that their scalps went numb. Run. It's too terrifying. They did not know who it was that was so terrifying. Was it one of the top figures who had entered the Z Mansion before? Lin Xian's figure flickered, and he was ready to leave. He did not look good. After all, he might be targeted by the Z Mansion. Not long after he left, there was a flash of light below. At the same time, a demonic beast rose into the sky. There were several figures standing on the demonic beast, and they flew toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned again. Were there more people coming? A fierce look appeared in his eyes. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.